With me while I show you what I'm eating today as a white transmasculine, femme non-binary, temporarily mostly able-bodied, neurodivergent, obsessive-compulsive, chronically ill, culturally Jewish, Unitarian, Universalist, non-monogamous, Leo, romantic, gray, demi-bisexual, a survivor of acute complex trauma, millennial, and cat parent in mental health recovery.
It's a trap!
Hold on, dude.
Yeah.
Hold on, Chad.
I will read you to filth.
I almost got through them all. Greetings, everyone. It's TGIS. Welcome to the Lord Scale Day. Do you like my new hat? I would like to know. Let me know if you like my new hat. I'm not going to make a poll because it's really not that fucking serious. Anywho, today we're going to be discussing the Energon universe. Skybound, Hasbro question mark, Skybound, all that kind of stuff. I have two awesome guests. Thing out of here. I got two awesome guests today, and I couldn't think of anybody better to join me for this discussion than a couple of really awesome guys. So I got Mike from JUNKION CRAFTS and Builds. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to see you. How you been?
I've been doing well. Just busy collecting a bunch of junk coming in, and just getting ready to celebrate next weekend at Toytuber Expo. So
yeah, that's going to be a good time. And you had me on your channel with several other awesome guys, and we kind of discussed Energon, and I said, I don't necessarily want to put a pin in it, but I want to come back around to this conversation in my neck of the woods. So we're going to do that today. And I was just about to intro our next guest, but he walked off. So. But who else could have this discussion with us other, then I haven't had this guy on my channel in a while, and I've missed him. I've missed him very much, but none other than Jesse from JLS Comics. What's up, dude?
I missed you too, my friend. How you doing?
It's good to see you, man. How you been?
Good. It's been a while, like you said. I don't know how many months, but quite a while.
It's been a minute. I like it says JLS Comics, but call me Jesse.
Yeah.
And then Shane from Same Time Toys says, do better. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we're gonna do better. And for everyone joining us from the wide internet, I do have this to share.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, we're leaning into that. It's fun, you know.
Nice.
Fucking George Aiken all the way from the UK. Hey, it's Burger King. I chucked it across the room. It went
for
somewhere.
sale on your
What'd
site.
you say?
Are you gonna put the shirt up to sell?
I might. Yeah, I might. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's me and Ryan. It's both our logos, so I don't. You know, I don't. I made two. I made one for me. I made one for Ryan. I made us another design as well, and I will be wearing mine this time next week at the Toy Tuber Expo in New Jersey. So
Nice.
This is a beautiful coupling right here. Just, you know, the way you guys are just all snuggling. It's great.
Yeah. Like, oh, yeah. You know, I'm just annoyed. Chad looked like he had Puddles the Clown host a Burger King. What the fuck?
What the fuck did I just hear?
What does that even mean? That's terrible. Dude, okay, so I'm gonna just put it out there right now. There's something going on with the chat where if you scroll, it's like lagging, and it's shitty. So Nerd Alert, what's up, man? Good to see you, Justin Booth. Everybody else who's popping in, thank you so much. Medieval Alchemist said I'd buy a Noid shirt. Well, I am buying the trademarks. So yeah.
All right.
And I did get this guy. You need to do better. Yeah, so I got him. Whatever, just having fun. Stuart Jardine, what's up, man? Good to see you. Rachel
Before we get
Salinas.
too much further, I want to say, Mike, Junkion, nice to meet you. Nice to see you. First time
I'm sorry.
on a stream. So, you know, looking forward to this.
Thank you.
Good to meet you.
I'm a very much a fan of your work, and I definitely refer to it a lot in the stuff that I do, and I appreciate all the effort and stuff you've put into it. So,
thank you.
Hell yeah, Jesse. You're the man, dude. And again, for everybody who's hanging out, if you've not checked out either of their channels, all the links, as always, are in the description. Their Instagrams, their YouTube channels, etc., etc. So yeah. But yeah, everybody else who's popping in, welcome. You know, thanks for being here. Rachel Salinas, no, there is no red jumpsuit with bunny ears. No.
Yeah.
Jonesy Wonesy, new channel member. Thank you very much for being here. Chad buying the Noid trademarks. I am. Yeah, I absolutely am. 100%. You know, I mean, because they were all abandoned ever since, you know, the freaking incident. If you know, you know. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, just so you don't get caught out saying that you stole it later on, or there's some sort of IP infringement. I mean, that never happens for people that actually legitimately buy things.
No,
like
that never happens.
Never.
No, never. Steel Brigade. No, but I also posted on Instagram and Facebook all of the abandoned trademarks from Domino's of the Noid. So yeah, we'll see. Whatever. Just trying to have fun with it. But so today we're going to be talking about the Energon universe. We'll probably just bounce around, just do it really organically. I didn't make a fucking slideshow. I didn't.
Okay.
I did.
I grabbed a couple pictures, so if we want to throw up a couple images,
you can, man. You can share it. That's fine.
All right.
I can share my screen. I got some images too, but I want to know like what you guys think of the Energon universe. Where do you think it could go? Where do you think it should go organically in regard to toys and things like that? I did get this free ash can while I was at Robert Kirkman's panel.
Bro, I'm jealous of you for getting that. You're lucky you have that.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a bunch of images in it and stuff like that, but it's pretty fun. I also picked up the exclusive foil cover for issue 1.
That looks so good.
one of the 3 things that I actually purchased at San Diego Comic-Con. So.
Nice. Can't go wrong with some Mark Brooks art.
Slideshows make me feel old. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we can pull up images and stuff like that. But yeah, Jesse, if at some point you want to share your screen, by all means, share your screen. So,
Okay. Yeah.
Energon universe, Mike. How old is the Energon universe now? 2 years, almost 3.
Yeah, I think it was first announced at the end of 20 or towards the fall of 23, and then it started with Void Rivals, and then the big thing was when Transformers came out. And that really started introducing everything. But then for us, as Joe fans, we started getting a lot of the miniseries kind of fleshing out things and tying back to the Transformers comic as it was going along. Then once they started with G.I. Joe 1, I mean, it's really been full bore with this new understanding of what this universe means and reinterpretations of a lot of really classic, heroes that definitely are not as clear cut as what we're used to as old people like myself remember them. So,
yep. Livingstone's points out Jetfire was in Void Rivals issue number 1. That's why the Void Rivals set has the 2 O-ring figures and Jetfire.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Did either of you pick that setup? Do you have any interest in picking that up?
No, I didn't pick it up. I had the Jetfire from the War for Cybertron series when they did that maybe like 4 years ago or so. But it was just one of those things I just didn't get a chance to grab or ask anyone to try to pick up at SDCP. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. There's certain Transformers that they will always get me. Megatron, Soundwave, especially Soundwave, Grimlock, Devastator, Jetfire. Always. So I got this guy loose. I got a good deal on one in the box because the box is a little dinged. Oh no, but it's still sealed.
Yep.
And yeah, I did pick up that Void Rival set. That is one that it's the only thing I bought at the Hasbro booth for myself. Was that set.
Okay.
But gone are the days of real San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And I was going to bring this up later when we talk about possible toys for the Energon universe, but back when this shit was legit exclusive, and if you didn't get it there, you were getting it online or, from a third-party seller. Now you just wait 5 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Oh, Shockwave. Yeah, I do have a couple of Shockwaves as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have I sorry, it's scrolling slow. World Made of Cardboard wants to know, have I opened the Void Rivals Jetfire? No, I haven't opened it yet. I'm still trying to unpack the rest of this room. I'm trying to not open more toys, so everything's just kind of sitting off to the side. But yeah. No, I haven't opened it yet. Here's a question for Jesse. We're kind of bouncing around. There's a few other awesome ones that I'm starring. Crusty Old Crow, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Says, Jesse, what do you think? This is specific to you, Mr. JLS Comics. What do you think of Matt Tracker's appearance in the Energon special? Should we be talking about Mask when we talk Energon now? That's actually a good point of discussion.
Really good question. Yeah. So I guess one of my things I really like about the Energon universe is just right from the jump, it was just all about surprises. In this day and age, especially in comics, with pre-releases, with leaks, with all of these things that we get, the internet is just 24/7 news, right? How do you still have a surprise, in that environment? How do you roll something out, in whether you're Hasbro or Skybound or whomever, and you're just, people don't know 3 months in advance, but they were able to do that with Energon and, kind of rolling in these different properties with Void Rivals and then boom, big surprise at the end. So I love the surprise element of this universe and starting over and kind of rewriting what I already know, kind of some of these characters are, we have 40 years of history with some of them and how they've interacted and who they are. And Energon has deconstructed some of that and really allowed for a lot of surprises. I know we've had some crossovers with what was it called? Revolution, right? Where everybody kind of came together with IDW and
the Revolution
all
set.
of these properties, right? To me, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. You know, it may not have been like the best, like story wise, but like just all of these like wow, aha moments were like super cool to me. And so for kind of coming back to what Crow's saying here, that was what happened for me when I saw that, you know, first image of Matt Tracker. It was like, holy shit, okay, cool, that's awesome. I don't know where they're going to go from here, but I like not knowing. And you know, I like what's happened so far. So if they roll this in somehow, we're going to get more surprises, and they're going to do it right. They're going to do it well. I suspect maybe something where, you know, Skybound does, you know, like a Mask, you know, miniseries that kind of ties into something, right? Maybe after, we'll probably talk about this later, but after the Dreadnought War, after Quintesson, right? Maybe like we'll start rolling in some of these other properties, but where we are right now, and with that little surprise, that was super cool to me. I like that.
Great. I mean, I could definitely see, you know, like you're saying, a way to kind of bring Mask into it is, you know, they're already talking about like the technology and such that Cobra is utilizing in Mars and everything like that. You could definitely see that the technology, possibly after those storylines you're talking about, gets kind of released, and next thing you know, you have these independent businesses all of a sudden creating, you know, hybridized vehicles with, you know, hidden armaments and stuff. And I can definitely easily see that tied into this universe. And I think what you touched on, Jesse, is really good. Is like, you know, what we had in the past with IDW and try to cross pollinate all these different properties that Hasbro owns. It wasn't really guided by someone who has done something like that in the past, or really has a good idea on how to create a timeline that makes sense and not easily divulged with a variety of shifting writers and whatnot. And I think that goes back to Robert Kirkman and how he kind of runs things, and the history that he has with his stories. I mean, The Walking Dead's how many years has he been writing that comic, and it's still as popular as it is today than it was, you know, when the TV show was on and everything else. So I think that's a key difference with what we have the Skybound universe and what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I think you just hit on something like really important there. Was like with that story, a lot of it, while it was cool, it felt kind of shoehorned in. It wasn't this like, you know, necessarily like organic cohesive story, but the way they like the foundation of the Energon universe, where there's Earth, there's like these bioorganics, and then there's like technorganics, right? And it's kind of like these two opposite ends of the spectrum. And then that technology and all of that kind of comes together. It makes sense that would be like the next kind of natural evolution, where all that comes to Earth. Now you have Matt and all these other people kind of leaning into that new technology. So absolutely agree that could be like the post Quintesson War kind of development of the universe.
It's a lot of good comments that I'm starring. So that you know, that's actually a lot to unpack. So yeah, so Matt Tracker was folded into the Revolution set, and then Mask was kind of, I don't want to say reimagined, but you know, they were folded into that whole Unit E thing, which I thought was cool. I'm a big fan of Mask in my Joe and Transformers with my Joe and Joe with my Transformers. I always have been ever since the crossover comics as a kid. My thing with Matt Tracker, it's cool how they brought him in, like his relationship to Clutch and things like that. And, you know, Clutch and Hound as his vamp and how that's sort of unfolding. But where I see sort of, I don't want to say cracks, but pause for concern is that where are the unifying elements outside of the comics? Because when you look at the Energon universe in print, it's freaking brilliant. You got to read this issue of Transformers to understand what's going on in Duke, you know, and so on and so forth. And they just interweave these stories. And again, Mike, that's kind of what you were pointing at. Before Robert Kirkman took over as writing, because he just took over writing Transformers, but he was still driving the bus as far as, okay, well, we're going to weave this story thread into this other comic, and then it's going to come back around here. And then, all the stuff that happened in the Cobra Commander stuff is going to unfold in the Dreadnought War and all those kind of things. Jesse's cosplaying as a WDW pro now. Way to go, Jesse. But my concern with that is you bring Matt Tracker back in, which is cool. I like the way that they did it. And again, like Jesse said, the surprise of it. But the Loyal Subjects is putting out mask toys in the original 2.5-inch scale, and it's white Matt Tracker. But in the Energon comics, it's the Revolution black Matt Tracker. I don't have a problem with either one, flip a coin, but you've got licensees, licensors, all this stuff going on. The Energon comics are taking off like gangbusters. Where's the cohesion? And is it going to be cohesive at some point, or is it just going to be sort of the piecemeal stuff that we're seeing where you get Night Force Beachhead in a classified 2-pack? Okay, well, that's the Beachhead from the comics. And Mike, like you and I were talking about backstage before we went live, they're folding pre-existing figures like the Cobra, the Valkyries. They're folding them into the comics. They're folding in Raptor and his new aesthetic into the comics. But you're bringing these things into the comic continuity. But when is the comic continuity going to start going out to other things? Because aside from the Void Rival set, which is 1/18 scale, and the classified Beachhead, where's the unifying elements in that? And are we going to see that?
That's a great question. And to kind of go back a little bit with the classified toy line and the mixed messaging that Hasbro is really putting out, I think that's where you're really kind of keying in on things in regards to like the toys and stuff. Going back earlier in the toy line releases for classified, we had gotten the early series figures for Night Force. We had Tunnel Rat, we had the Mole Rat, which was a new character,
which is Energon.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was tied to this dark Energon hint, storyline, and everyone was like, well, "All right, well, now we're going to start seeing this. We're going to start seeing more of this stuff coming through." You haven't seen it since then, and now we're 180 some characters inside the classified series. I don't know. I don't know where the things are going at. And I remember the stream for Not Joe June this year when Lenny was sitting there and talking in those 2 small streams about Skybound comics and stuff. He was like, "Yeah, it's around, it's coming. We're thinking about things, but it's all like nebulous. There's no real statement of the team going forward." And I think it's because they're still a little gun shy from the beginning of the classified line when they started, these new designs based off of a video game, and the collectors, the adults, we all pitched a bitch about it, and all of a sudden they're like, "Okay, well, we got to do everything exactly like they did 40 years ago. We'll follow the forefathers, Kurt, Ron, everyone else that we normally don't talk about, but we know that they did this because they were successful, and we're going to recreate that with just a couple twists."
You know what? Not to throw you off, but Lenny's never met Kirk Bazigian. And I'm like, what? What? Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm surprised, but not surprised. And maybe they're, I don't know. But it's wherever they're going to go. And like I said, there have been hints of designs and figures we've received so far, like the Valkyries, Raptor, Major Blood's redesign from the beginning of the classified series, which they came and kind of bled through, and you start seeing those in the comics. But where are the designs that Baroness's new design's awesome. Duke looks great, and they're modernized the uniforms. Dare I say they have the
Chameleon. Right?
Yes.
Because a lot of people may not know, and I'm not trying to talk down to people who do know this, but at one point Hasbro lost the trademark of the name Baroness, and they would lose trademarks all the time. And so they renamed the Baroness Chameleon, gave her a whole new backstory, find out it's like Baroness's sister and all this crap.
Mhm.
But now for Energon, when they reimagine Chameleon, she's a totally different, like she's blonde and all that stuff. And now she's the Cobra one and Baroness is with the Joes. And
Can I show you something that I just got in today? This will be interesting. You're talking about Chameleon, not the box. It's in the box.
what's in the box?
It's in the box.
Let's see it.
So I know you have this because you made a video about this. I showed a version of this when I was on with Zakane and Mikey. So was it 2000 when that happened with the license, the trademark?
87.
No, with Chameleon.
Anyway.
Oh, you're saying what year did the figure come out for Chameleon?
Right, for Chameleon. I think it was like around 2000-ish, right? And then they got the trademark back and all that, but that mold, that character went and it became the Pepsodent one. You've seen that. I know you have it. You've seen it. Well, that mold actually first stopped, and this is what I wanted to get to, is here as a bootleg. So this is
Oh yeah, dude.
Extreme Troop. And that's the same Chameleon Baron. Well, not the same, but the same mold as the one that came as Pepsodent, and then the one that was like the 2000 like mainline one where she was Baroness but Chameleon. Yes, that one. That's the one. Yep.
Nice.
That's the one right there.
Yep.
So this is yeah.
Sweet. But yeah, so anyway,
Great time
they lost Baroness and they had to make her Chameleon and on and on and on and on. But it's nice to see how Energon took that kind of history and folded her into an all new character, really.
Mhm.
But hey, thanks, Dale. Really appreciate you, man. Appreciate you being here.
And I agree with you, Jesse, about the whole idea of like just how this universe is kind of hitting the ground running. It's not slowing down. It's not giving you a chance to say like, all right, well now this is what I think should happen next. All of a sudden you're hit with something else. And I do really enjoy that. Now, I mean, without going into too many spoilers on things, but I mean, just how they presented, classic figures. I mean, Mercer's now my absolute freaking favorite. I want to see more of that. I keep reading the Destro miniseries and everything leading up into it. He's just freaking awesome. And we got the small rinky-dink one for Classified in a 2-pack. So.
Good friend Suka says, Hasbro, what's the Energon universe? I mean, obviously they know, but that's kind of what, between you guys, and everyone in the chat, I really want to know, what do people want to see? What do they think realistically is going to happen? Do you think it's just going to be the way that it is now? You get a piecemeal, something in 1/12 scale, you'll get something in 2.5 inch, you'll get something in 1/18, or do you think they're going to try to corral it and make it something unique?
That's what I want to go first.
Jesse,
can I come out swinging?
Yes, please.
Okay. So
you've been here before? Come on.
Yeah. You're right. I have. I was going to show you something, but I can't find the stupid image. Is this the one? God, this is why I don't do this shit, Chad.
I got to hit this real quick.
Sorry.
It's science, people! Science!
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Okay.
That's true.
So wait for it. Okay, here it is.
Are you sharing a screen?
I don't know. Yes. That. Okay.
Oh,
so
the
this
updated Aspid
is from the Energon universe, G.I. Joe, I believe issue 6.
Mm-hmm.
So Haslab. We talk about dream projects. We talk about things that have never happened, right? This is something that for me personally, I think for both of you too, would be a dream project as a Haslab.
Oh,
And one thing that they
Absolutely.
could do, you see the fang down there? That's the Baroness doing a little roll there.
Yeah.
You could do a fang, sort of like you do like the Faraday. I have one down here, like some of the smaller ones, like the Stinger is now at Walmart. You know, the smaller things, right? And then you do this as the Haslab, so then people, you know, maybe it can pick up two, right? It's like what is this, a Tarhay, or like one of the bigger like the Russian ones. I forget, like the MI 24 maybe, kind of a
The hip?
combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So maybe like you
It's
do a
the
thing
MI8. Yeah, the MI8 hip.
Yeah, so like a
MI24 is the hind.
kilo, and maybe it picks up one, maybe it picks up two, right? Underslinging them. And so like you do like the Haslab for this, and then you do the Fang at, you know, retail. And so people are like, okay, I can undersling a Fang, or I can undersling something under this thing. I need to buy both now. And then you start kind of combining these things together. But this right here for me would be like a dream project for a Haslab. And then what you could do, like the next kind of season of the Haslab, because they kind of match, right, with things. So it'd be like the Sky Striker to the Rattler, right? So you do this, and then the next one is like a big Tomahawk or Eagle Hawk is the next one, right? That allows for a lot of playability, a lot of like the, you know, world building that I think we all feel like we're missing from this line, right? And you can like recreate images or, you know, scenes from the comics if you have these things available. But yeah, I just wanted to mention this right out the gate here. This for me would be the thing I want from Energon.
And here's the thing I was
What
going to touch
scale?
on later on. Oh,
Sorry.
What?
What's
Yeah,
no,
so that's the tough part, because for this to be at scale, it would have to be massive. Yeah.
yes.
And that's kind of the thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the trick. And this is something that
Mhm.
again, I'm not name dropping. It's been shown everywhere, and people have, like, you know, laughed about it and everything. But when Lenny and Ryan and I were talking at San Diego Comic-Con, that's the thing. Whenever you incorporate Transformers into your Joe and Joe into your Transformers, just like with this shit right here, which by the way, I was right. You know, people said I didn't make that, but I was right. I was right. The Transformers have to interact with the Joes in their alt mode. They have to. If they don't interact in the alt mode, it's fucking busted right off the bat. So you have to be like Commander class or Masterpiece right out of the gate. To do anything like that in 1/12, the Transformer would be so fucking huge.
It would be
Like, you're
galactic all
talking
over.
like Haslab Sentinel size. It's not going to fly in that scale. So where can we find a balance, you know, as lovers of Joe, as lovers of Transformers, where can we find a balance where you can incorporate more Energon stuff into the 1/12 scale GI Joe, but still meet, I guess, the criteria of Transformers and Joe interacting in the same universe? Like, you would kind of have to do both if you want to do that Cobra Aspid that's out of Energon, or shit, even the original Cobra Aspid. Like Crazy Sith says here, they had those helicopters in the early comics. Issue number 1. The Aspid was in issue number 1, and they never made them. There's tons of stuff from the comics that they never made. But, dude, I would love to see that. When do you start incorporating the Transformers? I mean, the low-hanging fruit is who? Hound.
I don't know how to share this thing I just put in the.
Oh, I
I
can.
keep doing it wrong.
No, you just
Hound.
throw it up. I'll share it.
Hound. There you go. That's Hound, by the way. Spoiler alert.
This Masterpiece Hound, he's 7 inches tall.
Yep.
In bot mode. That's right.
I have
That's almost perfect right there. I mean, obviously the figure that comes with it is not, he's not 4 inches. Yeah, there you go, right there. Here, show it again.
Yeah, which one's that one?
it's not quite.
Oh, that's the alternator, right?
Yeah.
His head's all
alternators.
smushed down, Jesse.
Exactly, I know it is. It just smashed him on the.
I broke my neck. I broke my robot neck.
But yeah, I think they'd have to keep it in the scale like you just showed there with the Triple T, because we already see the challenges now of trying to do anything of scale for 112. And I know that's what everybody wants and everyone is, clamoring over, but they have to realize, like, the fact that we're seeing the Haslab right now for the classified, group just got funded, but that thing, like you saw there at San Diego, that thing's bigger than the Hiss, in regards to width. That's a challenge overall. And to circle back on the Fang, and this is another part where Hasbro's kind of, their pipeline's not keeping up with things. There's third-party companies making these type of things. I mean, we've already noted that, Ramen Toy is giving us a tank. It might look like something that we're used to. But if you look up Fans Hobby VEO2, they're giving us a kind of updated version of a Fang already. That's going to come out this fall, and then obviously the battle of the all strikers between third party and Hasbro
and the not Skyhawk.
Yep. I was going to mention that one. Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be it's a challenge just for Hasbro to give us the majority of things that are good. I'm not saying they don't give us stuff that's not good. I'm not saying that. But there are always these one little things, like they go like 90%, and then there's that one little bit. And I would have to say that they had to stay in a smaller scale to really incorporate the Transformers and just have it as a complement to the comics. And that's where I think, don't go classified. Go back to the O-ring scale and really tie it in. The tooling won't be as horrible. And the engineering you guys have, you could upscale the vehicles a little bit,
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. So if the Void Rivals set teaches us anything, that's kind of where it needs to be. Plus, if you take, any kind of a 1/18 scale figure, modern construction, O-ring, whatever, action figure, and you stand it with an MP10 Optimus Prime, that's the perfect scale. Perfect. Like they look absolutely perfect. Or Masterpiece Soundwave, even though he does mass shifting, we know that. Or Masterpiece Megatron, who also mass shifts.
Right.
Keith from KB Jotograph. Oh, did you fix his head? Way to go.
I did. He was looking a little shy earlier. So
that's the same one I've got. Yeah.
Perked up a little.
Yeah. Keith from KB Jotograph's good to see you, buddy. Says, great discussion. The Energon universe needs an animated tie-in. So here's the thing about that. There was the rumor before San Diego Comic-Con that Kirkman was going to be announcing an animated series. I secured my interview with Robert Kirkman thinking like, yeah, I'm going to be at the panel. He's going to drop all this stuff, and then I'm going to interview him. It's going to be fucking amazing, right? At the panel, Ryan and I are sitting there, and I'm like, they better fuck it. As soon as they showed the trailer, and I'm like, come on, man, announce that animated series. Nothing. And then in the Q&A, somebody walked up and asked them, and all he said was like, well, now that I'm writing Void Rivals and Transformers, and we're like, recircling the wagons for all of these comics, we don't really have the time in the foreseeable future. And I'm like, damn it, man. And everything else was like, we can't talk on that. We can't talk on that. The same corporate shit, right?
Right.
So
there's so many other ways
got a little dejected. Sorry, go.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to overtalk you, but I can understand that frustration, especially nowadays. Like, there's so many different ways people can get media out, especially for new collectors. I mean, the comics, yes, they're doing fantastic for people more our age, but what about younger kids that are, they're tied to looking at videos and stuff? That's why you see they kind of, this new Transformers they put out, the Cyber World, 10-minute bits on YouTube weekly. And then the toys are out right now. And the toys are simple, but you know what? I've seen more kids walking around with those recently than I ever saw them with, like, War for Cybertron and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's that external connection with them, even if it's only for a couple minutes. And that is something that, I am shocked that people like say that there's no time. There's animation companies out there clamoring for things like this. You don't have to make it a 10-episode Netflix series. It'd be great for those of us that want that like half hour, 45 minutes worth of content. But start small. Start with just connecting something, even if it's like little webisodes on the Hasbro Pulse page. Maybe use a QR code to kind of link it. Not that it works so far, but there's ways.
I wasn't going to point that out, because I'm a hater. But that's the thing. So Jedi Ben says the Energon series got me back into comics after like 30 years.
That's awesome.
The comics are doing so well. Joe has no animation. Joe has like zero fucking media. Transformers has had media here and there. I mean, Void Rivals, no, really. But here's the thing. If you want to compound on these successes, you're going to solve a lot of issues all at the same time. Walking Dead didn't get huge till it had a fucking TV show. People knew what it was, but it didn't get huge till it got a TV show. Invincible did not get huge until it had an animated series. Masters of the Universe did not get huge. G.I. Joe, name it, did not get big until it had media. And if you want this stuff to like keep blowing up, it needs friggin' media. And I think just the fact that it was leaked that Kirkman was going to announce that they made a deal, and the fact that Invincible's animated series is so well received, and the fact that, he was in charge of the Walking Dead TV show for like a fucking, a millennia.
Yep.
When it didn't get announced, I was like, what a fucking missed opportunity.
Especially
like,
with the
because
tone
you're
of
writing 2 comics doesn't mean you can't oversee an animated series. I mean, granted, some of us have one job and we bitch about it, but you gotta build on your successes. And I think a lot of the problems that are frustrating people is that I don't know how much of it comes back to Hasbro and how much of it comes back to, can we all just have like a fucking Zoom meeting and figure something out? But
that's exactly it.
Where's the cohesion? Where is it?
So I agree 100%. When we were growing up, 80s, we had action figures, we had, mid 80s on, right? We had us animated, we had the comics, and they all had a different tone to them. They all had like slightly different approach. Right. You could argue different canon, different continuity for each. Yeah. But it all
the reason
worked.
I love Serpentor is because of the comics.
One of those 3 things. Exactly right. Yeah. So like I think right now what's happening and what they're struggling with from a marketing perspective is how do you thread the needle between all of that? How do you please all of these fans? How do you add some gravitas and some badass cool factor and a little bit of camp and some like cool, articulation? So, hey, let's add some missiles. Let's throw in an ice tray kitchenette, for a little camp and stuff like that. But
don't
like
forget
the problem,
sausages.
The problem with that exactly is, or like the cup, right? Is that you're catering to one of those 3 original audiences, not necessarily all 3.
Yep.
So you need to look at something like, I would say Lego, where they have their building blocks, they have movies, they have like all of these other properties, and they're reaching all of these different audiences that have been engaging with this property, this IP for decades. And they're all coming together and it's really successful. It's working really well for them. So for us, right, for where we are, it's just the toys, but they're trying to at the same time still cater to these different people that are not feeling satisfied because all we're getting is this one little like, hey, here's a quick little like wink and nod, here's a little camp for you, here's a little kitchenette, and that's it. So I guess what I'm saying is, I mean, long story short, I agree with the cohesion. There needs to be some diversification here. There needs to be some spread in media. If there's any hope of like any kind of, sustainable future with this. So I guess what I'm saying is I agree with you both.
But Chad, question for you then. Do you feel that based on how the Energon universe is coming across and the tone that's in the comics, I mean, without going into too many spoilers, it's graphic. There are death. going on almost every other issue.
Yeah.
Do you think Hasbro is nervous about that if they try to expand that out? If they, to try to balance, we want to try to get to the kids because we are a toy company, but if we put this out, how do we handle bad things that happen? Oh no, that G.I. Joe guys have guns.
I think they're
there's a
still
lot of
playing it
layers
safe.
to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers. So again, Mike, I can tie in what you just asked. I could tie that back into what Jesse was talking about. So, you look at the comics and let's just say the creation of Serpentor. So that whole arc from issue 44 or 45 all the way up to 50, the Battle of Springfield, with the Baroness, just straight putting like 5 holes into Storm Shadow on the beach, and then Storm Shadow gets put into the mix for fucking Serpentor, but it brings him back to life. And then like at some point you're like, is Storm Shadow immortal now? Like, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, all the
really
death,
deeply.
all the everything, what Saw Viper did to Battle Force 2000 and a lot of the original Joes, you gotta kind of like wipe the slate clean.
And we won't talk about Revenge Robotics. That's a whole other.
But at some point in the past, they were adept at, keeping this stuff to animated and keeping this stuff to comics. But I will say these days, people are a little more savvy. When The Walking Dead would stray from things, people would say, that's kind of not how it went. When Invincible would stray from things, same. A little bit with The Boys. I'm waiting to see if they go the route of the comic books with Homelander or not. But I think it would be a challenge for them, but is it doable? Sure, of course it's doable. I mean, we've been to the moon, man. You know what I mean? Like, they can figure this shit out. Right? But at the same time, you guys are talking about marketing. This isn't to like pick on somebody or talk smack about them where they can't defend themselves. Honestly, these people who are in marketing positions, we're specifically talking about Hasbro right now, because we're talking about toys tying into Energon. What do they do for marketing? They do streams, and that's a legit question. I have asked that question numerous times. They do streams with pre-sales.
When they're allowed,
is way different
based on how the world is. But there isn't really a lot that's going on. I kind of harken back to some other companies that are, as you said, savvy with utilizing social media and what they're doing. I can't imagine how hard it is for a bunch of marketing individuals to go forth and just do a stream more often than once a quarter. I mean, you don't have to say, hey, here's the next round of toys. Utilize that opportunity to flesh out what is going on. Do some behind the scenes things, like bring in some of these other talents. I mean, yes, like I said earlier, Lenny did a stream sitting down with the guys that were writing some comics. Why not do that more often? Show some of these new designs that are coming through. Maybe not hint at what's going on, but you can definitely have a stream talking strictly about, here's what's happening in the Dreadnought War. Here's some of your favorite characters that you already haven't classified that could be coming out.
Yeah.
There's smarter ways to market a lot of this stuff. And I am definitely not a marketing person, but I know what I like to see.
Yeah. So the Titan says, I want an Optimus Prime Rolling Thunder. So this is the Perfect TFC Toys, I believe that's what it's called. Hold on. Yeah, TFC Toys Rolling Thunder. So that's the Optimus Prime Rolling Thunder. Me personally, I wanted to see Optimus Prime as a Rolling Thunder in the Joe Transformer collab stuff, but he's going to be a Mobat.
Yeah.
But again, this is where we talk about the cohesion elements, because he's none of that in the Energon comics, right?
Right.
So in the collab stuff, he's now going to be a Mobat. This goes back to the whole discussion I wanted to have, like, where is the cohesion in any of it?
Right.
Because I'm not
That's pretty
seeing it.
fucking cool, though. I'm sorry,
You know?
but that's
It
cool.
would look badass.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing is pricey, man. That thing is expensive, bro. But yeah, it's called Perfect Toys, TFC Perfect Toys Supreme Tactical Commander.
Yeah.
And then he also comes in camouflage. Yeah. Pretty fun.
I don't know. I don't know what the trigger would be to really start bringing the gang together, because it's a recipe in and of itself. I mean, it writes itself for everyone, you know. And just thinking of these ideas, like you just said, it'd be perfect if Prime was this, modernize everything. But it's that pullback that everyone has from like, well, this is how Optimus Prime was 40 years ago, so we have to do it again. They did it, but that's the thing. A lot of the people now that are fans of Transformers, they don't see Prime as a flat, front rig. He's the Bayverse guy. And that's another area that, they lean into.
He's not the cab over anymore. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to kind of tie in things, modernize them up. And, with the biggest company, the biggest toy company, you can make the rules as you go. If you're talking about scale, what's the balance? Maybe you have it as a 1/18 scale transformer, but you have like the smaller ones. Now they're not going to be super articulated, but it would scale for what you need. Or go with the route you said. They have partnerships with Takara Tomy. Create that masterpiece scale.
These little,
you got to use the tooling's already there for the vehicle.
Yeah, there you go.
Make a damn figure and go from there.
Well, and the thing is, so Prime is the cab over semi that he always was. We're talking about in the Energon comics.
Mm-hmm.
So now for the Joe Transformer collab stuff, which I did get like legit confirmation both teams work together, which, because I had the question, I wanted an honest answer from someone who works there. They're making him into a MOBAT right there again, just like Matt Tracker in the comics, Loyal Subjects Matt Tracker. I know Loyal Subjects is just doing throwback shit. I get that, but it all still falls under lack of cohesion. Where is the cohesion? You got a smattering of onesie twosie 112 scale classified shit over here. You got a smattering of 118 stuff with the Void Rival shit. You have this Transformer Joe collab stuff, which they admit, like, people fucking love it. They love making them. They're gonna keep expanding on that. Mobat Prime and the Hound Vamp are supposed to be coming out in this fiscal year. What's to stop Hasbro from just calling fucking Kirkman up, like on their little hotline and being like, hey, Robert, or somebody over at Skybound and be like, why don't you work it into the comics where Prime becomes a fucking Mobat? What's to stop them from turning him into an M70 battle tank? Right, Jesse, on M70? Yeah.
yes, that's right.
But that's the thing. What's to stop them?
Absolutely nothing, at least from the comics world, because you could always just hire a writer and freelance artist, make it a limited series, and then you have that in your world you can always tie back to. Yeah,
it's been established that they can turn into whatever alt mode they want. They just gotta like scan it,
Yeah,
right.
These don't transform, but you know what scales really well? Jada and Blockies.
Yeah, nice, man. There you go.
So, like world building, like don't be afraid to combine lines at all. I know we're talking about that.
Absolutely,
this is a perfect example of that.
And another thing. So Stuart Jardine says this would be where you also cross over with Mask. Yeah, because the Energon technology, all the Mask shit, right? Illusion's the ultimate weapon and all that stuff, and they transform. They have alt modes. Why? Yeah, I mean, you bastardize some Energon technology and there you go. But Kirkman said himself, you're going to start seeing more Mask characters bleeding into the Energon universe. So they are coming.
That's good. But I wonder, like I said, maybe Hasbro's slowing with a couple things too, because they don't know if it's going to sell. They don't know what collectors, because all they hear, at least from the Joe team, is like, "Oh, I love this old stuff. I love getting a pink hand Snake Eyes because of that
Remember
one
that
episode."
one episode?
Great.
Yeah. Well.
Hey, we just spent a couple $100,000 to recreate an episode where your villains pretended to be rock stars. Now, people clamor all over that shit, myself included. I got it sitting downstairs, but still, you got that. But then you're nervous about a redesign for, I don't know, a character that is popular.
Yeah.
In this right now, because you can't deny that they shouldn't be denying the fact that they hear that the Energon universe is coming through. It's working, for a comic company.
They're wildly popular. Those comics are fucking huge. And you know what? You just brought up multiple good points. One, Cold Slither is a perfect example of when marketing works. Because it was 30 seconds in one episode. I didn't know anybody back then who was like, dude, the Cold Slither was so great. Or the average Joe band. But the marketing made people want it. Made it like hot. Even though I'm laughing at it, but that's just my personal opinion. I'm allowed to.
It's a cool little thing.
But that's where marketing works. And not only that, but they pumped so much time, effort, and money to make that set.
Right.
Why are we not putting that effort into Energon stuff?
Perfect in statement there is like they got actual art, musical artists to recreate the songs. They had them sing at a concert there for SDCC. That's all over on that album. The albums on Spotify and everything else for people to purchase and listen to. I mean,
Gus Rios is actually a local guy to me. He shops at the same comic shop I do.
I did get a video of that booth where that record was being sold at San Diego Comic-Con. It was kind of a fucking ghost town.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are trying to figure out what LPs are, and they're more digital than anything else. But that's the thing. You put money into pressing records, but I can't get an updated webisodes, basically recapping. You can even take the images from the comic, do a little animation with them, make it a motion comic. There's your story, and
to the same style as the preview for was it the Dreadnought War?
Absolutely,
that trailer was so good.
They've done
more
it.
Of that. Tell us that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what that is? You know what that is? I'm gonna show you what that is.
That's that bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had the funds to put that stuff together. World building is world building. Yes, you can take, as you said, Jesse, cross the streams, put different lines together. But if you're trying to build a world, then build a world. I mentioned it. I mentioned it last year at Legion's Con when I sat down and talked to Bobby for a little bit. I was like, the one thing that would be so great to have on the website, put a lore. Horseman does it with like their figures and stuff.
Yeah, and
then you could just do even a quarterly update. Show the picture of the United States and where the line between where everything's going through with the Carrick running through. Where's the action force right now? And just you could just do that. I don't think it. I say this. I don't think it's a lot of effort. It could be, but it gives you something to think about. And it keeps people engaged while they're waiting for the next series of figures. Series 6 for Bobby's coming out. Do a little do like a little webisode, just even if it's just pictures, and talk about Lieutenant Hune.
The best marketing I've ever seen in my life, The Dark Knight. You guys remember The Dark Knight marketing?
Yeah.
Oh man, like that stuff was the shit. And they would put out clues, and you would go to a spot, and there would be a thing. They fucking killed it with that marketing. Nicotronus says the problem with that Jetfire is he's still too small for the 4-inch figures. That is true, but also remember the rumor that they were going to do a Titan size Joe Transformer collab, and that's a perfect size for, say, a Jetfire or
in robot mode that would fit, right?
Starscream Night Raven. Yeah,
Stuff writes itself, man. I mean,
it does. And previously in the comics, he was a Night Raven. Remember, he was Cobra Commander's like personal transport. But I mean, if you want to bring these toys back, you can bring these toys back in a 1/18 scale, but you can put a new spin on them. You can make them more interesting. You can make them engaging, like you're actually playing with your toys again. God forbid, because you're transforming them. You're successfully bringing the Transformers into the Joe into the Transformers. But again, you got to get everybody on the same page, because see back to Prime being a cab over semi. Was that a Kenworth or whatever it is? But where's the Prime Mobat in the comics? If you don't have any kind of cohesion between the two, I don't see where it's going to go. I want to see them, take these successes and build upon them. And Talib says, sadly, the Void Rivals San Diego Comic-Con set didn't sell well because that Jetfire's been reissued multiple times. The figures don't scale fit in the Jetfire, and the O-rings need to go away.
Or they also didn't know the two figures that went with it, or what the hell Void Rivals means, because Hasbro really didn't talk about it a lot. It could be a lack of awareness as well. And
yes,
on top of the things that Sleep's talking about. And I agree, like, it's not only is it just like getting the people to talk about it, it's the timing too. You got to strike when things are hot right now, because we know in this world things move on at a pace that is incalculable.
It's not the same Jetfire. So unless he's saying that this one was something else. But I was told there's new sculpts on this.
It looks like the nose has been resculpted.
Yeah, I was told face to face there's new sculpts in it, but it's definitely not this one. So
yeah, it definitely looks a little more smooth, a little more animation wise than the War for Cybertron, because that one's really detailed in. But the premise and the transformation should be the same.
But then again, O-rings need to go away. I mean, yeah, that's your personal opinion. We're all entitled to them. But if we're talking about cohesion, it's cohesive.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with a lot of this.
These are all O-ring
guys, so I don't want O-rings to go away personally. That's just. But I agree with a lot of what
all of the figures in my collection are 4-inch modern. The only O-rings I have are either drivers, pilots, etc., and that includes the Transformer Joe crossover stuff. I don't necessarily care for them, but they're not a deal breaker either. I just put them in the vehicle and whatever. I just drive on. But all my displayed figures are modern figures, and that's fine. To each their own. But
actually,
the collab O-ring figures are not going away. That's the only instance where Hasbro's going to make 1/18 scale Joes at all.
Now that you say that, other than Steeler and your guy up here, I think these are.
I can't hear you when you turn away.
Oh, sorry.
What'd you say?
I have my headphone in. Maybe I should just switch to that.
That's all good.
I was saying that now that you mentioned that, I was looking at my shelves back here. Other than Steeler, who I have down here in a Mobat, and Skidmark, your guy up here, the other ones I have displayed are all modern. So
yeah. Skidmark, yeah. But when they made the modern one again, because they lost the trademark Skidmark, so they had to call him Treadmark, and I don't like the modern one. I really don't like him. Mother Slug says, I don't know Transformers that well, but I'd make a CH-47 shit hook and I'll buy it for sure.
Yeah.
But again, okay, take the premise of what you're saying here, Mother Slug, about a Chinook, which I just default to calling them shit hooks. But do a Tomahawk and make it transform.
Yeah.
There you go. right? I don't
Do an aspid and then a tomahawk.
exactly.
Thank you.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to scroll through the chat and it's doing that goofy thing. What's up, Jay Combs? Good to see you. Ender Shadow, thank you for being here. Everybody who's here. Yeah, Living Stones, also a Chad, says animated series should be priority number one. So my question to you guys, if let's say they did announce an animated series and it was Energon Universe, the leak that came out just showed that comic cover of Hound and Clutch standing on that pile of rubble. We know that Transformers are wildly popular because giant talking robots that, that transcends cultures, especially in Asian cultures, they love giant talking robots.
Yep.
Do you guys think that an animated series should lean more towards Transformers, or do you think it should be like everybody all together? Should it be like the books where it's almost episodic?
I would kind of go for 2 different series, and then at the start of each season, cross them over. At least to start for the first 2 seasons. But yeah, that's how I would approach it.
See, I was thinking where you're saying, and make it kind of like an MCU type thing where you can create the 2 series. Say, here's a Transformers series, here's a Joe series, and then towards the end of that season, for the cliffhanger for season 2, you have them meet up. Then that brings into that whole new storyline that you can weave in and out for whatever seasons are left. The question is going to be, would Hasbro find the right company to produce it, and are they still gun shy? Because I mean, they did it, their last big animated thing for Transformers 1, which was a fantastic movie, but it bombed. Maybe because of marketing, maybe
it was the freaking marketing all day. Because when I finally saw it at home, and I loved it. I loved it. I felt guilty. I didn't see it in the theater, but the marketing made it seem like it was for 5-year-olds and it was all dick and fart jokes. And I had no interest in that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
but when it came out, fuck, man, the way that they expanded on Prime and Megatron, I know they weren't called that most of the movie, but the way that they wove their story was so good. And even Bumblebee, Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee, I was like, that's a little weird. But once you see it, I don't hear Keegan-Michael Key. He's just like, badassatron. It was good, man. That movie was good.
Because it felt organic. You felt that friendship naturally fall apart throughout the film.
Yeah.
And then the combination of the fight sequences were great.
And when it was over, I was like, man, they should have written freaking Star Wars Episode 3 like this. It would have been better. So Suka says 1/18 scale is about to be in a renaissance, which, if you think about it, there is more 1/18 scale toys now than there's ever been before.
Agreed.
It's all going to be thanks to the overload of the devil scale. That's 1/12 scale, by the way. Taking up too much shelf space. Yeah.
Maybe. And costs too overall. Now, I mean, 1/18 scale, depending on some of the companies that you get, I mean, the smaller ones, those aren't too inexpensive. But I mean, compare that to, hey, here's $300 for a vehicle that I may have room for. It's no question. The smaller size stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and utilizing things, and I know you showed this in the past, and I haven't opened this up, but this thing's freaking
yes,
just the half.
It's fun, right?
Yes, it's cool to see.
Yeah,
but where's more? Where's more of this?
I was looking at the Mattel booth, and I wasn't there obviously, but in videos, I was really studying to look to see, if there was any other GI Joe in that Hot Wheels display case, but nothing, unfortunately.
Nope. And they sold like
they do more,
fucking gangbusters. Those things sold like mad.
Yeah, it's easy money, but no one considers it. I don't get the rationalization at times. So, and I know things take a pipeline. tooling, you're looking at 2 years ahead and stuff. Well, you knew the Energon universe was coming out 2 years ago, plus, and you already were 2 years, 2.5 years into classified. You had some of the stuff already planned out that thankfully the comics are more adaptive. They can incorporate all that stuff in, but have a roadmap for what's going on in the future and utilize it. If you're putting together these new sculpts, or utilize or have them put that in, or God forbid, create a new character that can be introduced in the Energon universe, like Risk.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool that they're kind of doing the reimaginations of certain figures. Like we said, Chameleon with Mercer, but this is a whole new world. You can create anyone you want.
Yeah.
And then just make it bigger.
Baroness is still Baroness and Matt Tracker is still Matt Tracker, but everybody's got a spin on him. And that's great. But at the same time, where is the translation to little plastic people that we all love and will fucking buy? If you're into the comics and they come out with that, good guy Baroness, I don't know, fucking like Captain America Baroness, whatever, right? And they come out with that Baroness, or
America's
if the classified Mercer, right? He's kind of shitty. If he looked like that comic, the Energon comic Mercer, stuff like that, people are going to want the figures. People who are into the figures are going to get the fucking figures anyway, because people who hate Cobra Law are buying up all the Cobra Law shit, which, by the way, Energon ties in Cobra Law as well.
Yep.
It's all interwoven, but put out the figures. The people who are just in the figures, it's going to help them gravitate toward the comics. If you put out an animated series, the people who are into the animated series, they're probably going to go left and right, at least to the comics, things like that. I wanted to say hi to JBTM and say, I am good. How are you, my friend? It's good to see you.
Can you share this image I have? I don't know.
No,
I'm sorry, I don't know how to do it.
God.
I would do it myself. Okay,
That's good.
This is Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
Dreadnoughts took a chainsaw to his face and then made a smiley face and blood on his helmet. That is like
freaking twisted, man.
Yes,
it's awesome. Yeah.
But I would love, I know we'd always talk about like hooded Cobra Commander and like all, but like this one, I would buy 2 of these. Like he's I'm just maybe not like super multiples, but my point is, I would be on this like flies on shit. This thing is dope as hell. But I think the problem with stuff like this, because it does lean into kind of more of the horror element, right? There's a lot of blood and gore with this, right? They don't shy away from that. There's like people getting just kind of chopped in half and just there's blood everywhere. Like, I think that the team is just really afraid to take chances and risks. I don't think that they're confident or
well, their bosses definitely lean on them for one, reuse, right? Obviously.
Oh yeah.
2,
definitely.
like keep costs down, and 3, more reward, way less risk.
Yes, right. Exactly. Yeah. It's like, what can we put out that we can reuse, right? Even like the Haslabs, like they were saying, like I think it was Emily, right? Yeah, we can reuse these things. It has to be after a certain amount of years, different, paint apps and things like that. We can reuse it. So they're thinking like, what are the safe things? What are the things that we can reuse, right? Mold-wise, like multiple times, really get our bang for our buck. So if this doesn't work, if this doesn't fail, because we're not confident that we're going to go year over year over year over year here, how can we maximize our money and our investments in our molds and this and that? So like they're really, really playing it safe.
It's media. Like if they had media, I feel like that would help. And sure, a lot of the stuff that I'm saying is it's bias, it's personal opinion, but media controls everything. Like Jay Combs said, it's really all about the media. And I wanted to address this. Jonathan Redmond said, to be fair, all those comics were huge in the comic space, but the shows definitely brought in the normie audience. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was trying to point out, is that Masters of the Universe, none of this stuff got huge until it had media. Nobody heard Skeletor in the mini comics all man until the fucking animated series came out and Alan Oppenheimer gave him that voice. Same with Chris Latta and Cobra Commander or Starscream, etc., etc. Whenever you hear Optimus Prime, you hear Peter Cullen. Whenever you hear Soundwave, you hear that, murder drone. Right. So the media is key, 100%. It's absolutely key.
And like I said before, sometimes it's just lightning in the bottle when you have that media and you have that right person either just supplying the voice or being that physical embodiment in the media. I mean, with Robert Downey Jr., he's always going to be Iron Man now. No question.
Yeah.
You can put whoever else in there. It's him. And that's the thing. We were so ingrained with like Optimus Prime as Peter Cullen. But then for Transformers 1, I mean, Chris Hemsworth, I think, did a really good job trying to create a voice that pays homage, but not straight copies.
Yeah, as a young Orion Pax, he did a fucking great job. He definitely did. Yeah. And like this, incorporating Megatron into Cobra Law, into Cobra Commander's like story of how and I like in this, he was taken in by Cobra Law. He's not a citizen of Cobra Law. He was like adopted into their culture.
And it's a trigger. It's triggering too because Cobra Law was so. It started with the revolution inside Cobra Law at the beginning
because they were about organic technology.
Yes. So now that this thing is in and it's the new science experiment, and they see technology advances because of deconstructing Megatron.
Yeah.
That's engaging. That's intriguing. That gives you so much stuff to go back on. I was recently going through and looking at Jesse's video of Crystal Ball, and they did the shameless plug. They did the alternate where they talked about the 1991 card where they had Crystal Ball actually from Cobra Law going back to look at the revolution. The whole idea of that's just really cool, and it's not just Burgess Meredith floating around on a big blob of snot in a movie, because that's all we really know. So having things like this that can kind of expand and give you a new sense of perspective on it. I mean, we're rehashing what we think. They should just jump on this.
But there's a really cool image of Megatron with Laserbeak wired into his face, and he's his eyes.
Yeah,
I would love that. That would be. But so then
cool. even this right here. So let's say you made an animated series, and in Cobra Commander, issue number 1, you already have Megatron incorporated, and you can go backwards and do the Transformer story where Starscream betrays him. You could go backwards. You don't have to, just go linear or kind of interweave them. You can go backwards and forwards. I mean, fucking Quentin Tarantino invented that shit. But here, Cobra Law's the big thing. Oh, fucking Python is coming out. Well, there's Globulus on his giant weird techno monster, fist fighting Megatron. Who wouldn't want to see that animated? And then they're going to come out with a Globulus figure. It's already going to get people primed for that because they're going to watch this in animated form and be like, that was fucking awesome.
Yep. But instead, we'll get 17 versions of Snake Eyes wearing Sergeant Stalker's clothes again. I like old stuff too, but the reason I appreciate it is because it reminded me of something in the past. I don't need to have everything right here and there.
Yeah. But there's enough nostalgia tied into all of this. I've said numerous times before, if somebody came to me a couple years ago and said, yeah, they're gonna basically reinvent Transformers and G.I. Joe, and they're gonna tie Cobra Law into it, and Cobra Commander has Megatron as a science experiment, I'd be like, you're fucking crazy. But it works. It works. It honors the 87 animated movie. It honors all the previous animated series, the Sunbow shit. It honors the comics. It has the nostalgia to it, but at the same time, it's just new enough where it keeps you engaged. And Jesse, here's where the eye goes. So since you were talking about Laserbeak as the eye,
yeah,
show the old eyeball. I mean, look at him, man.
I like
He
that
is
through line.
fucked up.
Yeah.
How bad.
And it's equally just, Jesse was saying earlier about surprises. The whole idea of like these guys just being able to take pieces of themselves and morph it in them. I mean, Optimus Prime with Megatron's arm. I mean, that
He's got
that
an
was
arm cannon. Yeah.
fucking wild. Now, I personally was like, at first when I saw it, I'm like, I don't like that. But as the story progressed, it made
grew.
sense.
Yeah, it totally
all
grew
right.
on me after a bit.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now, again, Hasbro hasn't done anything for that with Prime. But third-party companies are giving you add-ons for like the Studio Series 86 Prime. Now you have a Megatron arm to go on. It just, I don't.
The same thing is like you look at the new Devastator that Hasbro's like slowly fucking painfully rolling out, that I have like most of, but not all of. But I've got the Jinbao Devastator and the upgrade kit, and he's freaking amazing. He's amazing. I want to hit a couple of super chats real quick and some stuff that I starred for you guys because I got to get to these. I can't avoid them. Brian Rowland, thank you for the $5 super chat. My man says all they need to do is animate the existing comics in like 5 to 10 minute YouTube shorts. Ta-da! Yeah, exactly. I mean, Mike, shit, you were saying that earlier, man. But yeah, 100%. Jesse threw up a screenshot. I'll grab that in a second, Jesse. Yeah, absolutely, Brian. Thank you for the super chat. But if today's kids, if we're wanting to get kids into this stuff, you got to look at the current psychology of kids and their attention spans. Fuck yeah, man. Make them shorts. G.I. Joe Resolute, that's exactly what it was. It was 10, was it 10 6 minutes or 6 10 minutes? I want to say it was 10 6 minutes.
Yes, I think you're right.
I think that was right, yeah.
But anyway, regardless, Resolute was numerous, very short, episodic little shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And Resolute it's heralded as probably the best G.I. Joe media ever.
Yeah.
Even
Renegades, Snake Eyes movie, I'll fight.
This art style too would be really cool.
Yeah.
I really
Renegades.
like Renegades, but like imagine this with Energon. Like that would be,
that'd be wild.
Be cool.
And it's not like, and they also tried to reach out before because I remember, and I'm not a Fortnite guru. I talked to my co-host T-Man about
they tied
that.
in the Snake Eyes movie. Yeah,
they tied in that, and then I thought they also had like Duke or someone in that, or maybe I'm wrong on that. So
no,
it's just
there's a Fortnite character who looks like Duke, just like the Fortnite character Havoc is an homage to Firefly because those guys are G.I. Joe fans. So a lot of their early character designs were homages to G.I. Joe characters. But yeah, they only put Snake Eyes in Fortnite, and I've been saying like put more Joe into Fortnite because I would love to like stomp some asses to Baroness or Storm Shadow.
Absolutely.
I would love to, but again, that shit takes that it's almost like they dread that 4-letter word work, where you got to put work in to get results out. But Brian, thank you so much, man. And I couldn't agree with you more, dude. When that Joe game just came out, the 2D side scroller, that intro, I was like, fuck, why don't we have a cartoon like this? Yeah, that thing is so awesome. You got the steel kaiju in there and all the explosions going off. That intro was good. Stillwind 87, thank you for the super chat, my man. Sends $5 and says, why isn't there a kids G.I. Joe line? Kids need more than classified.
Yeah. I mean, they do kids lines for Star Wars.
Marvel.
We just talked about Fortnite.
They do have those cheap little I don't know what they're called, but they're in the little blue packaging. You can find them at the I don't want to say the dollar store, but maybe Five Below.
I don't know. All I know is I've seen the 12-inch shampoo bottle plastic 5 points at Ollie's and everything else. So I mean, they've tried, but it's just you got to reinforce it somehow for these kids.
I think a lot of it boils back down to the fact that Joe is their property. Everything they make off Joe is 100% theirs. So when they license these IPs from Disney, that's $500 million per IP. So it's 500 million for Star Wars, 500 million for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those make money. But the thing is, it's almost like they're their own worst enemy because they pay so much for these licenses. They will produce an ungodly amount of shit and they just chase their own tail trying to make their money back and make a profit. Whereas the shit that they own, they're like, we own that. It's cool. Just, just put it over there.
Or they'll do some sort of half-assed way to try to bring some of their property in. I mean, the example in my head right now is that whole Magic Marvel stuff that they just put up for pre-order.
Yeah. That they just threw in my fucking bag. They just fucking threw that shit in my bag. I was like, I don't want that. Yeah.
But, having your own property, because they bought everything. You could do so much with all your properties that you have existing and make your own money. But like you're saying, that's just, it's not connecting somehow.
No, no. And at the same time, it's almost counterproductive because, let's be honest, the MCU is not kind of where it used to be. And Star Wars destroyed Star Wars. So you're still paying for these licenses. You're pumping out, Captain America, Brave New World shit. Female Silver Surfer stuff, which I don't have a problem with that. But she's not even fucking silver, man. She's like primer colored, but you're tied to what Disney wants you to do. You're tied to that. Whereas with Joe, with Transformers, with Mask, with the fucking Energon universe, that is you. You own those properties. You tell Skybound, make Optimus Prime a Mobat because we got that set coming out. Yeah. Make the Cobra Aspid because, God forbid, it's been in these comics forever and we didn't do anything with it. You drive that bus. It's not Admiral Holdo and Rose Tico and old Hermit Luke that everybody fucking hates that you're forced to make toys of. Yeah. You have the controlling decision, making process, but they're just not doing it. You get the Void Rivals set, you get freaking classified Night Force Beachhead, and I think that's cool. But at the same time, going back to the cohesion argument, where is it?
Yep.
It's just not there. Thank you, Still Wins, for the super chat, my dude.
Oh yeah,
I think too. Like there needs to be like some type of we're talking about cohesion, but like a cohesive story with it too. If you think about late 80s, into the 90s, what happened? Toy Fair put out a catalog. This is what we're doing for the whole year. And then throughout the year, you'd buy these toys and there'd be this little fold out thing that would have these really cool stories in it. And like these little world building things you could do specifically with those. You could make it your own thing, right? A lot of those little subtleties, I think, are missing, where they could put in these little flyers and tease, hey, here's what's happening next. Or like you put out a mole rat or, here's a little story to go along with it. That would be cool. Like,
those gatefold
it encourages like playability and like once you do that, what are you doing? You're experiencing it. You're playing with it. You're engaging with your toys. You're building memories. You're making emotional connections through that, right?
Your world building.
Yes. And so that's where the sustainability comes from too. I was even thinking like, how they have like on Unclassified, they have that QR code that goes to nowhere.
Wait, no, come on, that's not true. That can't happen.
You buy it, get a QR code, and I know like these days, like people would just put it online and like pirate it or whatever. But like, make a connection. Like even that, like just not everybody knows. Like, hey, I can do whatever and read these things here, but make that QR code a connection to the comic. Make it a connection to, one of those digital outlets where you can then buy it or read it. And then that, make it relevant, like that character relevant to that story. So then you you buy that character, you link to that comic digitally and then hey, now cool, here's something I can do with it. Here's some like, here's some story to go along with it versus like, and I know I like to do this, but like, hey, like, great, I can pose this on my shelf, but there she stays, but like.
Exactly. And you could tie it, even if Hasbro says we don't want to put a lore together or anything like that on our website. We just like people come into the store whenever we put up a Hasbro so they can look and see if the numbers actually move or not before 4 days before it ends. Put a QR code that poops everything right over to Skybound.
Yes, exactly.
And let Skybound flesh it out, because you know what?
Yeah.
They're writing the world.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, there's so many different ways, and I think we've been rehashing it, and we're on agreement. It can be done, because we're not sitting here in a hive mind and all of a sudden coming up with these great ideas. It's been done before. Wash, rinse, repeat, remold.
Those are the 3 pillars of any
Proof
kind
of
of
concept,
intellectual
right
property,
there.
right?
Yeah.
That's it. All the intellectual properties that we all love and have cherished all of our lives, those are the 3 pillars, right? You have comics, you have toys, you have media. That's it.
Yeah.
It's super simple. And Mike, like you were just saying, if you had a QR code that goes back to Skybound, it's self-sustaining. The comics, they're going, and everybody's, I don't want to say everybody, right? But the general consensus is that they are predominantly very well received. They sell very good. Numbers don't lie, right? Kirkman and his team, they were talking about numbers and this sold out and blah, blah, blah. I kind of zoned out on that part. But if the comics are driving the stories, the toy people just need to sit back and wait, like you can get an advance of some issues and be like, hey, we should make that into a toy. And that's all the work you got to put in. just look at an issue. But
I agree.
Yeah.
Especially when you have all these artists that are smart and kind of use their creativity and come up with these new designs. Well, then you don't have to really think about like, oh, how do I redesign this? How do I sculpt this? See what it is, or expand your existing library of like, here's the tooling we can use. Can you grade something that is a minimum twist or something like that? Let the artist, marinate and noodle all these different things. And like I said, when in doubt, create something new. Create someone new with all that library that you can just poop it out, and you're golden. Instead of relying on old man Mike sitting here like, oh man, I really wish they would go back and show that one episode. I want the Viper, the window wiper guy. I really want that in Classified.
The window
wiper. No one said that crap. But if you tell me, hey, we're going to give you a Mercer, and he's going to be as tall as, Sergeant Slaughter, who's taller than Destro in the Classified series, and just as hulked out. Cool, I'm down with it because I like him. He's a badass.
Yeah.
So,
Chad, can you pull up the image I had in the?
Yeah, let me hit these 2 real quick.
Sure.
TJC, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Thank you very much. Sends a $5 super chat. I miss you. We need to game soon. Said they should just stick to the Transformer origin story and add the Joes in.
I don't know, because think about it. The Transformer story when it came about, it was very much in like the Cold War era, and like it was the evil Decepticons coming to raid resources.
Yeah,
I kind of like this now, where like it was just a war and they got dumped, and now they're trying to find their own, well-being. And yes, I know Starscream and those guys were like, oh, well, let's go raid these guys and go get power and stuff. That was out of survival. That wasn't like, oh, we need to go and take this back to Cybertron.
Yeah.
Granted, they tried. With Shockwave and bringing things in. And if I'm spoiling people's things, you haven't read the comics, shame on you.
Yeah.
Shame on you. But they done it. They brought it. They kicked it back. And they made like a bunch of C-list characters, at least on the Transformers side, kind of interesting, without too much, Astro Train's, his arc,
cat?
Yeah, that's my cat.
Sweet.
It's very verbal.
She's very loud. So.
Yeah.
Keep it down.
Must be dinner time.
No, that's fine. I love it.
Yeah.
Sorry. I totally threw off your train of thought.
No. Now she's walking up here. So, come here.
Yeah, man. You got to show pets. That's
your
what we
love.
do.
Here's
Oh,
Stitch.
man. Siamese?
Nice.
Yes. So that's why
Gorgeous.
she's equally mouthy, aren't you? You give me that. Like, don't fuck with me. You're young. Don't worry. I'm gonna see you a lot more. But
I love all the pets, man. They're all awesome.
But
Terry, thank you
you-
for the super chat, my dude. And then Jeff W. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. Channel member for 16 months. Uses his Chad Chat trademark. This face. 2024. It says, sup, Chad and Chad holes. Listening while driving home. A friend of a friend offered to sell me his classic Real American Hero collection. A deal I might bite. Well, I'm going to say I think you should, my friend, but yeah, maybe we could chit chat about that later. But
the price is right and everyone's happy. Go for it.
Yeah, man.
Now, is he talking
prices
toys?
just go up for that shit.
Is he talking toys or is he talking comics? Because that's another part of the cool thing with Energon Universe, and we talked about it on my stream as well, is, they're still continuing the Real American Hero storyline and utilizing, Mr. Hama, thankfully.
Yeah, on the image side. Yep.
Yes. Now, I know we've talked about it a little bit before, is like some point in the IDW when they started really going into, like I said, revenge robotics and everyone is a cyborg and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they continue. Yeah, that's kind of where some people get lost. And I won't lie, there were times I still struggle with it, but they continue on with the Cobra Casino and everything like that. So there's still a little bit of loose back. It's not the greatest. And maybe that's a thing with Mr. Hama is like, I don't know if he has a way to write a closure for that and stuff, or if he's just
we need to be done with the casinos and Serpentor Con and all that. And Snake Eyes is a mantle, and that's why I like this Energon stuff, man. It's like
one time I was reading an interview with Hama, and he was talking about, and because I've written plenty myself, and I kind of get this, like where he's coming from with this, but he says like, I kind of, I let the story tell itself. I imagine these scenes or these pictures in my mind, and so what I'm doing is I'm just describing what I see in my mind. And that's like I said, I totally get that. That's something I've done, but that's still kind of like passive. You're reacting to what you see. You're not like taking control of the narrative. And so if you don't do that, you kind of become a victim of your own story, and you're just reacting to these things. And that's why how you can kind of get stuck in a bubble, and you don't quite know where to go with the story, right? And I kind of feel like that's where he is right now, or he's just kind of reacting to these things, and he doesn't quite know how to get out of this narrative that he's put himself in, and so he just kind of perpetuates that or delays it, and there's some cool elements to it, but at a certain point, you got to move past it. And we've been stuck in this little bubble here for a little bit too long.
Right.
Well, I have, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm finalizing scheduling with Mr. Hama, and he's going to be on the Sunday night hot seat pretty soon. So,
oh, wow.
We'll talk about all that. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm saying, as amazing as he's been, giving us this world, I totally agree, Jesse. Like there's some points you're just writing yourself just to write at this point. And I don't know, maybe it's the challenge of like, the excitement of the Energon universe and that re-envisionment. Is it one of those things like, well, what am I supposed to do next? Because you're already starting this new universe. It's parallel lines. It's 09 Star Trek versus, the Next Generation type of thing, but I don't know. Hopefully we
like,
see.
so, like, how do I still be relevant? How do I still create noise, but all of the excitement is on Energon? Hey, let me go like brainwave bomb and make everybody a zombie, and casino, like hey, cool, like news blurb, But I don't know.
Jeff Morris, Mr. Mo, channel member for 11 months, says, look at that. Almost a year of being a chat hole. Way to go, Mo. This is for you, baby.
Ay, mira, 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 mira.
Jason Krischer says, Hasbro should make the Energon universe toys the same scale as Galaxy Squadron for Star Wars, since we were already talking about all of that.
Mhm.
That way they can transform and come with multiple figures. What do you guys think about that? Completely different scale. Thoughts?
Well, refresh my memory. What size is this Galaxy Squadron? Because Star Wars stuff I haven't.
The figures are small, man.
Oh, okay. So kind of like what Inutabi puts out, like those. He's supplying like all the vehicles and things.
Yep.
That could be something different. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they're able to
I'm gonna
put
be honest.
figures into
I'm
vehicles,
biased.
right?
I'm a 118 guy. I don't want it.
Well, you personally don't want it, but would the line benefit from something?
That's why I
like
said
that?
I'm biased.
Right. Like,
Right.
I think one thing that they need right now, and this isn't the right word, but the right idea is saturation. There needs to be diversification. There needs to be more awareness out
Agreed.
amongst fandom, amongst just people in general. And so the more you can diversify in different scales and different lines and different licenses, I'm all for that. The caveat to that would be like, we don't want to cannibalize sales, or like I'm going to buy this but not this, right? So that's where you have to draw the lines. But I think having these different scales and having these different things would really, especially where we are now, would really be beneficial for the line. So I think Jason.
And that's a perfect point. If you guys remember back in the aughts, when the Anniversary Joes were on pegs, and then Rise of Cobra in Retaliation, and they're competing with themselves. Joe was competing against Joe, and you have one style with one, completely unique aesthetic, card art, everything, and price point with all the anniversary shit. And then the movie figures come out, different price point, different aesthetic, more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about cannibalizing, right? That's exactly what they were doing. They were competing with their own IP.
Exactly.
So I think that's something that needs to be considered as well. That's a very good point, Jesse, because the push is classified. I get it. That's fine. If the Joe Transformer stuff is going to be onesie twosie, how does that look? I mean, are we ever going to see Energon stuff in some kind of cohesive visual language in regard to toys, or is it just going to be what it is? And also avoiding the cannibalizing itself, because then you're going to see people, if they lean on Energon in, let's say, 118 scale, or if they lean on it in the Squadron scale, are people going to stop buying other stuff and focus on that? So, yeah,
great.
It's interesting. World Made of Cardboard says Hasbro will not unify the toy lines. They will always be different sizes because the administrators don't want to take a risk. Thoughts?
Potentially, yeah. That's why they're sticking with nostalgia.
Yeah.
Father Son Galaxy says there should be a retro 112 collection, which is like, I guess, your retro carded, classified, whatever the fuck they call it, and a true new classified following Energon.
That could be a good thing, because I mean, right now, like I said, when Classified first started, it was a modernization. It was something new.
Yeah.
Hasbro got the kickback from all the oldies, and now they're like, oh, now let's just recreate everything. The retro card back is a recreation of a recreation to try to get that different diversification. But
100% nostalgia. Yeah.
Having something that's strictly with the Energon designs as a separate thing, that'd be cool, because you're not really, it's not classified. You're not putting a number with it. But if you have the Energon universe there, with specific accessories, such as maybe, I don't know, pieces that you could, I know we're saying build a figure, and I know that's going to rattle some cages, but put pieces and parts that you can build, at least maybe not a vehicle version, but a robot version of Hound.
See, and that's where I was going to chime in. Based off of this, where does that incorporate the rest of Energon? But what you just said, okay, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, you could build a robot version of Hound. Sure.
Yeah.
But once you get into the bigger Transformer, Hound's not that big.
No,
right?
no.
But once you get into a Prime or a Megatron or a Starscream, how the fuck are you going to do that as a Build-A-Figure? Then you're literally paying for the Build-A-Figure, and that 6-inch Joe is just a loss leader at that point.
Yeah.
That would also solve the problem of like recency with redundancy, because they've already done Cobra Law, right? We know Python is coming out, Cobra or Nemesis, what is it now? Nemesis Immortal. Right, a couple others, right? Falcon,
Mercer,
I think, right? Is the
Mercer,
same with the
Baroness.
wings. That's the same. So, like, how do you separate, but not, And I think that would be a way to do it too.
Yeah, we should send this video to Lenny, since you're good friends with him now.
Fuck
and
no.
just say, hey, I have the crown. These are just some ideas. Let me know.
Yeah, where'd it go?
A little food for thought,
Yeah.
Hey,
heavy is the head that wears the crown, isn't it?
Listen to me.
Yeah.
No.
Now we hinted on it before, but like we've been talking strictly with Joe's and Transformers on Earth. How do you incorporate the other, figures from Void Rivals? And maybe that's where you're saying before, like at the 1/18 scale, you kind of have that going for it, because you can't really modernize Hot Rod.
They
or
already set the
Slinger.
precedence for it. It's on the floor. So, they did it. They did it.
So,
if the figures are 1/18 scale, it makes it easier if they want to start incorporating the quintessons, which if the comics are already moving into the quintesson war, you got a 1/18 scale figure, you can make some big ass fucking quintessons.
And they already made a very decent quintesson back in the War of Cybertron. So you got the molding, just redo it.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Dan says Diamond had a line of miniature Energon G.I. Joe designed.
Really?
Did not know that. Wow.
I have to look that up, because that's interesting, to say the least.
Wow. You know what that is?
It's science, people! Science!
It's been a minute. I needed to do it. Rachel Salinas says we need a transforming Hound Vamp. Well, he's coming.
Yeah,
he's coming. According to TF World 2005, Hound Vamp was added to the list of Joe Transformer collabs, and he was added last minute.
Yeah,
because
as long as
even the dude that I know didn't know anything about it. So,
as long as he's designed better than the Bumblebee All Striker, I'm all for
you don't
that.
like that Forrest Gump fucking, braces on the legs Bumblebee.
Sorry.
He's over here in my shelf. He's like, you can literally see him right there. He's like, what the fuck would you say to me? I gotta say though, they have been getting so much better.
Yeah.
The Thunder Wave is perfect. It's perfect. They hide everything so well. And the way that Cup transforms and his forearms become like the shock absorbers in the back of the vehicle. When I did my video on it, I did a side-by-side with the original Triple T and the Cup version. The Cup version, it's so much heavier. It's not hollow. There's a lot of, value is one of those things. You have monetary, you have intrinsic, you got all that stuff. But I see the value in that Cup Triple T. And in their alt modes, they all shine, because that's where the money is made with those. They have to interact with the figures. In robot mode, they could just be like, well, he's got to have this head and maybe, a hint of this kind of colorway, and Bob's your uncle. He's got Bumblebee's fucking head, right?
Right.
It's Bumblebee. But in alt mode, That is an awe striker, 100%. You set it next to all your other awe strikers, even that mega hiss with the dumbass shopping cart on his back. In bot mode, he's dog shit. But in vehicle mode, lined up with my other 65, because I have 66 total, lined up with all my other hisses, you can't tell the difference, except for the gray on the front and the armament on the top. It's the exact same dimensions as a hiss. Like, they fucking kill it with them in alt mode.
Yeah.
I love them. Yeah.
Another thing just popped up would be a great figure to introduce. Now, I don't know how they would do it unless you can tell me that the Warthog is still in use with the Army, but Power Glide Rattler, there's another combo. Be another, easy mix.
Again, personal bias, just me. I'm all about Power Glide as a transformer, but when they made the San Diego crossover Power Glide Rattler, I was like, that's just a shitty repaint.
Oh, okay.
The same with the Starscream Sky Striker, because Starscream's an F-15 Strike Eagle. He is not an F-14 Tomcat. When they took the Sky Striker and just made it Starscream's colors, I was like, nope, not buying that. Those are the only two that I don't have out of all of those sets, because but if they made a Power Glide Rattler or just a Warthog, because they made a Joe version of that later on after Real American Hero was done, I'd be I'd be all for that. But hey, here's a question for you guys from Mother Slug. Do you think Soundwave is more popular than Megatron?
Survey says no. He's still part of, they're both part of the Almighty Six Transformers. But I still think it's like everything else. You have your bad guy leaders. He's right up there, but he's not gonna be over Megatron, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Soundwave has super cool, incredibly popular, but Megatron just has the brand recognition.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
And I'm going to disagree on multiple levels.
Explain yourself.
One,
yeah.
Oh, I shall. One, it's my fucking channel and I'll do what I want.
There you go.
One, Soundwave sounds cooler. Two, he comes with all the little mini bots, the little tapes. I think that there's more playability with Soundwave than there is with Megatron. Not just as the gun or the G2 tank.
Or the I skipped leg day of Megatron.
Why is this trigger guard in an awkward position when I'm in bot mode?
Yeah.
First of all, if I'm just looking at toys, one, the Megatron toy sucks. I'll say it. The original G1 toy sucks.
Yeah.
Not only is it super fragile, doesn't like to transform. In bot mode, he looks ridiculous. But Soundwave, his shoulder cannon and his firearm, they're the batteries, and then he really ejects. You get all the tapes, you get Rumble and Frenzy and Laserbeak and Ratbat and on and on and on. And I just think that Soundwave, he had more value. Toy-wise, he looked better. And I just like Soundwave better. That's just
I got to say,
I do love Megatron, but I would put Soundwave above Megatron.
Yeah,
and then Devastator right under Megatron.
Here, because the Kanan asked the world, and he verified that Soundwave is more recognized than Megatron. So he asked the world. So I think
Kanan just said that.
Yes,
dude, right. I'm like 30 minutes behind on the chat. You guys know how I roll.
But right. How many different ways can you make Soundwave cool as a box? Or how do you modernize them? They've done it in the comics where he was a jet, all this other stuff.
Well, Lord of Brooklyn for life said, "This is why I am not considered a friend of Hasbro." That's weird because I'm sure I put Alan Hassenfeld's at least one of his fucking kids through college. Not saying,
right?
No, I will say, I have a new perspective. I'm going to say perspective. I have a new perspective on what those people do. And I will say that I definitely have a lot more respect for Lenny, even though I didn't know him. I'd never met him before. But yeah, I got some respect for that dude now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give him props for walking to you guys, knowing the reputation that a channel has in relationship with Hasbro, and the fact that he was, he's cool about it. He's just talking with you. Maybe he didn't notice your shirt. Who knows?
What shirt?
I don't know. Something you never go fool something.
No. When I met him, I was wearing my Megaforce shirt.
Oh, okay.
And we talked about Megaforce.
It was
not wearing my Never Go Full Classified, but I was wearing it the day of the panel when Shartimus Prime decided to be a fucking retard. It's sitting in the front row. I was wearing that shirt. Yeah. But you know what? My Never Go Full Classified is not about the 1/12 scale G.I. Joe current iteration. It is about the attitude and the mentality
the ideas
of the people who only get into classified, or the flyby people who come into an IP that's been around since 1964 and they want to fucking throw their opinions around. You know what I mean? Like that's that bullshit. Like, I don't care if you came over to G.I. Joe from wrestling or whatever. That's cool. Awesome. Welcome. Right. But shut the fuck up. Yeah. You know what I mean? The people who say, we don't need a fucking hooded Cobra Commander. Shut up. Stop crying about that. Blah, 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 blah. You know, the ones who, like, the only time they have an opinion about a thing is when Hasbro puts it out. And then it's like the best thing since sliced bread until next week. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. Jesse, talk about this image.
Yes. All right. This is Chameleon.
Yeah.
This is Chameleon.
Yes.
With a freaking badass rifle. Okay. I don't know if anybody knows what this is, but this is a cool rifle. So the reason I pulled this up is because, and I know we're talking about separation of lines and, you know, potentials for how to like make this successful. We talked about integration. We've talked about separation.
Yep.
This is an example of an area where integration would have been perfect. You're rolling out a Haslab with a snowcat, with a snow environment, and you want to build out a world. Well, guess what happened in the goddamn comics? Excuse my language. What just happened? This is Chameleon. This is the Baroness, well, you know, related to the Baroness that would potentially sell incredibly well. So you do something like this with that, right? Make the, her parka, her shawl, whatever, like soft goods. So you can have that, kind of winter environment, right? That more austere environment. And then you have like, just her more regular outfit, right? The Barrett is awesome. Other slug knows. But this is what you want to tap into if you're trying to do these other things. Like, I don't understand why these things are not connected. There's also, I have another image. I'm not going to pull it up, but there's another one of Scarlet in an Arctic outfit in this story as well. Why not? Why are you not bringing these things in and connecting your properties?
Especially when you already have the tooling, because right there's your Cobra Valkyrie body buck. If you don't want to make it realistic for the sniper rifle, use shooter's gun, and you already have soft goods tooling because you have the 60th anniversary soldier. Do it all. It's easy. It's easy. And if you say Scarlet, you got a retro Scarlet that was successful, that you remade into Glenda, that you remade into God knows whoever else right now.
Well, Glenda was made into retro Scarlet, but same.
Yeah.
Talib says TFC did a Megatron Destro's Dominator as well. I did not know that.
Yes.
Well, now I got to go spend a couple $100 more bucks. Thank you. Appreciate that.
It is really an awesome looking vehicle. It's all silver. I got to watch more Talib stuff because I know I've been out of Transformers for a while. The community just kind of soured me on a lot of things, but I know that Talib kind of has that on Figure Fight Club where He brings up a lot of really cool Transformer conversations. I just need to get back into that.
Yeah. I'm just going through the chat now.
Yeah.
I just saw Suka's comment. That was funny.
What do you guys think about this? This bullshit right here. My good friend Laser Pants, the teddy bear to my Noid, said, we need Gem and the holograms as Transformers.
Ryan, that is just so outrageous.
Is it truly
Dude,
outrageous? Dude, you want to get messed up? I'm going to mess you up.
Uh-oh.
Take the mask theme, but put the words to the Gem intro to it, and you will never unhear it.
Okay.
Do it in your head.
Damn you.
All right, I need to go. Goodbye. No.
I gotta go. No, you can't go yet. We're not done.
I know.
We're not done yet. Jacob Real, good friend, works at the best toy store in Albuquerque, New Mexico, an awesome dude, and a Chad hole. Uses his Chad chat and says, I love this stuff and love all you Chad holes. Thank you, Jacob. I hope you're doing well today, my friend.
You have an awesome members group.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And my good toxic buddy, Suka, sends a $5 super chat. Thank you, Suka, and says, listen here, you. What you do is spend 12 months hyping Dreadnoks and Cold Slither, tell everyone Dreadnoks are the best. Then you do the smart move, Snowcat.
It's on the list, man. It's on the list. We just, we had to take a poll with internally here with, our focus groups, and Thunder Machine was never that exciting.
That's that bullshit. That's that bullshit right there.
You know why that's that bullshit? I'm going to tell you why right now. Because they said publicly numerous times the Snowcat and the Thunder Machine were on their wish list to make, but they would not be Haslabs. And I got confirmation. I know somebody else who got confirmation. They were going to be their own price point, and it was going to open up that price point to other vehicles as well. But fuck no, the executives were like, we're not paying for those molds. Make the fucking plebs pay for them. And look at how poorly that thing just fucking dragged its sorry ass across the finish line.
I was just looking now. It is
down yesterday.
Yeah, it's at 85.39 right now.
So it went back up again.
With 4 days left to go.
It's not happening.
Not unless they pull in some magic numbers from big e-retailers.
International.
And I'm betting as they go down, the last 24 hours are going to be pretty interesting to watch. Those numbers, that tickler is going to go all over the place.
Yeah.
It's either going to be like the FOMO surge or the I'm not getting all the tiers, I'm backing out. You're probably going to see a bit of both.
So what happens if it goes below 8,000?
Ace from Ramen Toy asked me that. And he was like, if it drops back below 8,000 after it was already over 8,000, will they still make it? And I'm like, no. They need 8,000, at least 8,000 to pay for the cost of production.
Yeah. I mean, that would be more egg on their face than like just a Rancor or whatever the hell this gunship is. It's at
fucking Cookie Monster and Reva's lightsaber.
That would be so bad. And
I don't know.
And again, for a team that is, in my opinion, more consistent than the other two teams we've seen with Transformers and Star Wars, definitely, that would be a huge blow. Yeah,
I don't know. Thank you, Suka, for the super chat, and for damn you for being fucking realistic, my friend. We don't do that around here.
No,
just angry war veteran shit. Ryan says Optimus Prime transforms into their drum set. Bumblebee transforms into a guitar. Are we still on this gem shit?
I think it's the medication that he might be on recently. I don't know. He's thinking some crazy
Look,
shit.
he ran his mouth one too many times, and I gave him the old fucking Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary.
He got rolled.
What's up? Yeah, you got rolled in the kill zone, brother. Tristan, remember that episode of Transformers with the old snake Cobra Commander in it, where they turned some Autobots human?
Yep.
Yep.
There's another one you could do.
So does your cat. Your cat's like,
dude, she is so. I never had a cat so mouthy as her. And she's downstairs with the family getting dinner, and she's just, you can hear her up here that clearly. Oh my god.
Brad says that Optimus needs to be Gem and the Holograms tour bus.
You know what? I kind of think we're on to something here.
This is where my chat goes, man. Look at this. I'm not going to read it. I'll just leave it up there.
I was cracking up about this earlier.
Wow.
I could you know, I mean, even though he's left us, I could hear Chris Latta's dialogue for that. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna flip the script here. Dan R is doing the Lord's work, listening while I mow my yard.
Excellent.
You,
I miss mowing a yard.
I love mowing my yard. I freaking love it.
Is it a walk behind, like push mower, or is it a riding mower? I'm curious.
Mine? Push mower.
No, his.
Oh,
Dan, are you riding a mower or are you pushing a mower? I like this. I would love to see Warpath as the Mobat.
that would be very cool.
Yeah.
Prime Rolling Thunder or
That would be
APC. I'd take either or. Warpath Mobat. 100%. And, you know, well, they already did Megatron as a hiss. But, again, we're talking about unifying elements and cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
In the Energon comics, Starscream's freaking upper torso is grafted to a hiss.
Yes. And I'm telling you, I said it on my stream as well. There are already people that are designing 3D printed pieces that you can go ahead and take your Haslab, and you got Starscream just a plug right into the top part. You know, if Hasbro's not going to do it, the community, nature will find a way.
Life finds a way. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And that's the thing. When you leave money on the table, you open your IPs up to independent creators, you know, people like Suka, like Duarte. I mean, everybody, name it. There are so many brilliant independent creators who have a lot of time on their hands that like creating this cool stuff. I mean, that's where you see Gridiron has been like coming up from, because I was buying Gridiron shit when they were making like Sponson missile pods for hisses and shit like that in 1/18 scale. And now they're making full-blown fucking vehicles.
Yeah.
Hasbro's not making them.
And Hasbro should be bending down and kissing Mark's tail, because he made the Vamp and the Stinger so popular, because you can create 3 or so different versions with it. And I'm not just talking, you know, Gridiron. There's Pixis Designs, who's created an entire add-on kit. Hell, you could even take the top of it, add it to the bottom of an RC body, and you know, you're golden.
Yeah. Zakanan says that's that bullshit. That's trademark me, man. You got to put trademark Chad.
You're not quite there yet. Pedro Almeida in the chat, he says, I want Optimus as a G.I. Joe hauler. So that would kind of tie into that Guy Cassaday unproduced design of the hauler.
The Goliath.
Imagine that as Optimus. That would be super dope. That would
see, not only
right
there. So now you're adding more layers. So not only are you tying in Optimus with Joe, and you can go back to, you know, the Energon stuff with that, but then you're tying in unproduced history of G.I. Joe. The Goliath is a phenomenal unproduced vehicle. It's fucking fantastic. And then you update Optimus Prime, so he's not, you know, a Peterbilt. He's not a Kenworth. He's not this semi. He's not that semi. He's a fucking Hemet.
Yeah.
And there you go. Brilliant. Jesse, you want to read this, please? Because I'm going to throw up in my mouth if I read this.
Okay. Build a world of gem and holograms as rock lords. Yeah.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Why? No. Jonathan Redmond said Hasbro release at least one Titan class figure a year. 0 reasons that figure couldn't be for a classified crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we saying that Energon should be classified scale? Because that's where it gets a little harder. Like when Ryan and I were talking with Lenny, and I was like, "Hey, on your panel this weekend, are you guys gonna show that Mobat Prime?" And he's like, and he does his little chuckle. He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." It's like, "You know, I know what I'm talking about." He's like, "Yeah, I know that you know." And I was like, "Are you?" And he's like, "No." It's like, fuck, man. Damn. But when Ryan and I were talking with him, Ryan said pretty much this same thing, and Lenny was like, no, we can't do that. He's like, the Transformer Joe stuff is going to stay 118 scale.
Yeah.
And then that's when I asked him, like, hey, when you guys work on these collabs, like, who's in charge of those projects? He's like, we all just come together and do it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I get the sentiment, Jonathan. I really do. I just that's a huge ask, and the space, right?
Yeah.
The space is everyone's
That's the tough part about the scale. Yeah. I guess with any scale, really, at a certain point, you're like, need a new house, or I need to downsize, or something. Something's got to give here, you know.
Well, here's a nice comment from Mother Slug. That's also a little tongue-in-cheek joke about the Tom Hanks movie Big. I think Unicron should be the Hasbro building. It transforms into a building. It's a building. Yeah.
Pawtucket Prime.
Kenzo's Creations. Awesome dude. Great channel. If everybody in the chat hasn't checked out Kenzo's Creations, please go do so. And also, if you haven't checked out Mike from JUNKION CRAFTS and Builds, I strongly urge you to. And of course, everyone's subscribed to JLS Comics. Jesse, I didn't see that you cleared 30,000 subs, dude. That's rad.
No, I'm at like 52 now.
But I didn't see you clear 30.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. Yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate that, man. Yeah.
Oh, fucking pardon me, dude. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Somebody go get
thank you. I'll just stick with that. Thank you.
Give him the crown now. He needs the YouTube crown. Just, you know.
Not me. No, there's plenty of people in our space with way more than I have. So
you got you got one of these?
Oh,
you got one of these?
I don't.
You got one of these? No.
No.
What the hell happened to my camera?
That's what happens when you brag too hard.
Yeah. Ouch, man.
That's it, off the camera.
Anyway, Kenzo says these companies need to stop relying on YouTubers to advertise them and have some sort of marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
that's
the ones that are
that's a whole other can of worms right there. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I go back to, and I hate saying going back in the day, but I mean, there were
when I was your age. Yeah.
When Xbox was doing their stuff, they had Major Nelson. He was the face, and he was on there all the time, keeping you updated on all the bullshit that's going on. Even if it wasn't like something new, it's like, hey, here's this new, here's our conversations. Really,
he was an employee. He was an employee. Right. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I agree with what Ken was saying. Don't rely on anyone else. When you got the talent in your own studio,
yeah,
utilize it. You know, I understand it. Hasbro got rid of their whole production.
Marketing people like fucking Kirk Bazigian, right? The goat of like toy company marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Daryl DePriest, even you just said his name. I'm sorry.
Me?
Yeah.
Shit, my memory's gone.
The Xbox guy.
Oh, Major Nelson. Yeah.
Major Nelson. Those guys are gone.
Yeah.
Right? It is very much like Kenzo said. They rely on social media and people on social media, to include YouTube and YouTubers, to be their marketing arms.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing people sitting around back in the day going, how can we make this more involved? Oh, well, let's do blueprints. Oh, let's do flag points. Let's do file cards. Those were all Kirk Bazigian, right?
Yeah.
That stuff is just gone. Now you have QR codes that go fucking nowhere, and nobody cares because, again, we got to fold back in. And I don't mean to point out the elephant in the room, but that's where you get the whole quid pro quo thing with YouTubers and the free shit brigade, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give you free shit to talk positively about our stuff. And if you don't talk positively about our stuff and hype up our IPs and our company, we're not going to give you more free shit. And then people start watching all these free shit brigade channels, but where is there
the
authenticity
in the messaging?
Yeah, where's the authenticity? Because then they're not gonna say this thing's a fucking piece of shit and I wouldn't have bought it if they didn't give it to me for free. Because they're not gonna do that, because then they're cut off.
Yep.
So they're gonna do the positivity police thing, and they're gonna either try to find the positive about this, or they're gonna say, I really like the paint apps on this. It's a very, very good applications of paint on this figure. It's a high quality figure. Don't worry about all those bendy accessories. No. We're not worried about those, because we're just going to get weapons packs from Valaverse or Gridiron or somebody else, because their accessories suck ass. But I did get this for free, and if I don't say something positive about it, I'll never get another.
Now,
that's that bullshit.
I would be so. No, I understand. I'm looking at this from the outside in, not as a Hasbro employee. But if I was on the team, if I was Lenny or Emily and them, and I love my stuff, and again, I'll say this with Emily, I know people talk about her with the way she comes across, but I have no doubt she knows her shit. She doesn't articulate it well enough at times, but you don't get into that position without at least knowing something or utilizing the resources around you that have those answers. I would be so dejected that I cannot have a conversation with someone and actually be challenged, not criticized, but at least ask me questions that I don't need to be pre-screened about. Come up with some new stuff. Talk about these ideas. Sit down and say, all right, well, this whole topic tonight, what's going on with Skybound? Well, we have they utilize Raptor's design that we put into classified. They put in the Valkyries. Great. What's next? Well, we're thinking about these ideas. We're thinking about this. We're thinking about this direction. It doesn't have to be like set in stone. And maybe that's their worry. Is like, they mentioned something, and now all of a sudden, it's out there, and everyone's going to be pissed off that it doesn't come around. But
yeah,
I don't want to sit there and like softball after softball. And I know that's kind of helping, those that are fans, so to speak. But I don't know. She disagrees always.
Let me ask you guys this. Rachel Salinas says Energon Universe needs to introduce the Lunartix Empire. For everybody in the chat who doesn't know what Rachel Salinas is talking about, that is the Star Brigade big bads from G.I. Joe Real American Hero. What do you guys think about that? Because I think that's a pretty good opportunity as well, because you got Void Rivals, you have the Quintesson War, you have all the space shit. Could you put Lunartix in there? Could you get a Lobotomax?
I'd go for it. I love that,
Sure.
like, that kind of ridiculous side of it. What's the other guy's name? Was it Werewolf? There's a few of the different aliens that.
Oh well, there's Carcass, Lobotomax, and this
Warwolf.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I would buy those in a heartbeat. I think that would be, and you know what?
Yeah.
From a narrative perspective, it fits right in. You know, it's just another planet out there. You know, you got Cybertron, you got all these different planets.
Yep.
There's Earth. Hey, there's Lunardics.
You
too.
get their attention because of the Quintesson War and all the other crap that is the aftermath. Again, it's all there. It's common story tropes that we are seeing over and over, but it works.
Yeah.
So
if you're going to tie in Mask with Joe because of the Transformers and their transforming abilities due to Energon, you could easily tie in the Lunartics Empire because of the Quintesson War. Easy. Yeah, I would get behind that 100%. Because of the way that Skybound, right, and this is where that good faith pays off. Because of the way that Skybound wove, whatever, right? Cobra Law into this whole story, I think that Skybound could do a good job of weaving in the Lunartics Empire.
Yes.
Or Lunartics. I call it Lunartics, but whatever.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Carcass, Lobotomax, Predacon. I was thinking
Predacon, that's right. Yeah. Very, very Transformer-esque name. Thank you, Rachel. That is awesome. Headcanon says, unfortunately, all this requires Hasbro to have a leadership, and that's the key word, leadership, right? Not teams, but leadership, with a vision for the future instead of worrying how much money they can squeeze from the past.
I agree with you completely, man.
I do as well. I will be fair. I'll be fair. And I'll point out, it's not just Hasbro. It's fucking everybody.
Yeah.
It is everybody. It's Mattel. It's Jada. It's whoever. Put a name on it. They're leaning too hard on nostalgia.
So I think this is a perfect segue into the image that you're currently sharing.
Hey, what do you know?
Hey, so this is I cannot believe this came up in a comic book in 2025. This is an RAH 66 Comanche. This was a test bed platform essentially for a stealth helicopter. Designed in the 80s, the 90s. It flew like late 90s. A lot of budgeting concerns and things happened, so this was ultimately shelved.
Well, but also remember they were working on the stealth Apache at the same time.
That's
or
right,
not Apache, the stealth Blackhawk. The stealth Hawk, which nobody knew about until the raid on Bin Laden's compound, and then they were like, "Oh, there's the stealth Hawk right there, right?"
Yeah,
but yeah, that's what killed the Comanche. But anyway,
exactly.
Yes, here it is.
We almost lived in a world where this was real, and this, the YF-23 Black Widow, was also flying. They're bringing this back. Japan's thinking about bringing this back. Gave the U.S. Air Force the idea of, hey, let's upgrade the avionics suite. Let's strengthen the airframe itself. Give it some better engines, like better armaments and whatnot. So this may be coming back. It's just crazy to me that in 2025 we're still talking about these things that were designed in like the 80s.
Airframes
in the 90s,
from
right?
80s, 90s. However,
but these are the things that go ahead.
The YF-23 made it into a real American hero as the G.I. Joe Storm Eagle.
Right here.
But we're still fucking wanting a Sky Striker. Yeah, there it is right there.
Yeah.
But everybody still wants an F-14, But when you talk to like the people who created a real American hero, they're like, that shit's been gone for decades. Like, move on.
Yeah.
When Suka and I were talking with Greg Bernston and Kirk Bazigian about, we're going to make the March, the unproduced little play set and blah, 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 and this, that. And they were like, just make it fun. Like, make it fun, make it now, and then Kirk again brought up the freaking, why are we still doing an F-14 all the time? I was like, I don't know, man. So.
Right. I guess that's kind of what I was getting at with this is like, play on nostalgia. Like that's obviously like something that is important to all of us, right? We react to that. But let's move forward and bring new stuff into the line. We do that with something like this, right? Maybe we do that with instead of an F-14, we do an F-35, right? We've already done an F-22. Let's do an F-35. That's kind of how are we moving the ball down the field a little bit further, right? And the way to do that is, acknowledge, respect, and honor the past, but look to the future, look to the new stuff, expand.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect way to do that. They brought it into the comic, right? So that's one step toward doing that, right? And the next step would be, hey, let's realize this in a 3-dimensional environment now.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, right? The Energon universe, it's giving us that little bit of nostalgia to just, at least keep you engaged. There's a little bit of key jingling, but at the same time, it's not. And then you see stuff like the Comanches there, on and on, the F-35. Again, Jesse, like you were saying, the Goliath unproduced vehicle based on a real world military Hemet. It's a perfect vehicle for Optimus Prime. It's large enough, right? Because he's a Prime. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan says, one of my figure regrets is not getting the Thunder Wave. Yeah, man. That fucking thing is money.
He's $90 on eBay right now, my friend. I'm looking at it because I don't have one, and she is influencing me. Look, that looks so good. You should embiggen yourself to really showcase that lovely thing. I'm telling you, Ooh.
Look at that.
Yeah, I mean that looks awesome.
Alt mode, right? The only thing that gives it away as Soundwave, obviously, is the tape deck right here.
Yep.
But I mean, even look at how his limbs are incorporated back here and up here. They do such a good job with these, man. The fact that yes, it's a lighter blue and it's red instead of like that oxblood maroon, but it's updated just enough. But it's phenomenal. It even has a fucking steering wheel in it. Like it holds 2 figures. It's a fucking fantastic vehicle. I love it. I love everything about the Thunderwave. Like they killed it with it. And I understand some people are like, well, why Zartan and Zarana? And I'm like, well, Classified was making a Zarana at the time, and she's a little more popular, to some people than Thrasher. I like Thrasher. Thrasher and Monkey Wrench are my favorite Dreadnoks, but that's just me. I understand why they put Zarana with it, but dude, like even the foot pegs, right? Like if you look at this foot peg, they fold up. Where is it? Right here, right? They move out of the way. They did such a good job with this vehicle, and the Cup Triple T just takes it to the next level. They get better and better with these every time they make one. Jesse, I'm going to pull your image down. You got any more?
Let me see. Yeah.
I had to put that sucker next to my bug and my septic tank. Yeah. And then Talad, shout out to him, says, shameless plug, we'll be going over the differences of the Jetfires tomorrow on Decepticast. So that'll be on Figure Fight Club's channel tomorrow night. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Very cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the Titan says, you guys are making too much sense. Hasbro isn't into thinking or giving people good product. I mean, I know it's a low-hanging fruit and we all kick it around, but at some point, it's in every company's best interest. It behooves them to make the best product they can. I understand that it's that balance between like quality product and profit, but this shit is right here. I'm pointing to my other screen. This shit is right here. It's right there for you. Just pull it. What do you got here, Jesse?
So this is this is just from one of the earlier issues. You got a bunch of characters here. The reason I pulled this up is because you got the XM8 there with the underslung, and then the Chris Vector. I really want to see some of these types of rifles working their way into the lines. That's why I pulled this one, because it captured both of these two awesome rifles in one image.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
TNT.
100%. And that's one area where the Action Force from Valiverse shines, because Bobby is really big on incorporating real world weapons in modernized platforms. And yeah, he's all about that Chris Vector. So it's a good submachine gun. Can't go wrong with that. But yeah, and this is a good issue too. They're trying to come together as a team.
Yeah, this was part of their training.
Yeah, it definitely helps set the tone. Like this is like we're saying with the other issues inside this universe. They're hitting the ground running. They're going to give you the backstory. It's just not going to be exposition up front. You're coming in. You're just like, all right, these guys are giving me what I want. They're coming in. I mean, they're all running around with jetpacks, and then they kind of do the Suicide Squad. Here's this guy. Here's this guy. Here's this guy. And you're like,
yeah,
kick ass, And then we see something happen at the end of the issue.
And I appreciate the fact that they took the root of Duke and they didn't deconstruct him the way that like Zack Snyder did with Superman and all this stuff. And you see a lot of modern media companies doing these days. But they took that all-American, apple pie, hot dogs at the baseball game, soldier, like a soldier in Duke. And he has a chance run-in with Starscream, which you got to read Transformers issue, 2, right? To understand how Starscream even gets there. And then Duke sees this thing, tells his superiors, because, Duke's a trusted soldier, honesty, integrity. Those are some of the, the foundations of, being in the military. And they don't believe him. And they think he's fucked up. And then you take this guy who's like the soldier, and next thing you know, he's a fucking crackpot because he saw a UFO. How many pilots in the military never spoke up about seeing these unidentified objects in the real world because they didn't want that stigma? But Duke did. And they tie in like real world stories. Take this guy who in every other incarnation of the character is like, wire-tight, squared away. And then they make him like a fucking pariah. But Hawk has to bring him back. And Hawk, again, is back to being a colonel, not a general, which I appreciated that as well. They got to bring him back because he's the only one that can really wrangle the Baroness. And then they begrudgingly give him a team. And I love the way that they just spun it enough. It's still G.I. Joe, but it's G.I. Joe because of all of these events that happened in Cobra Commander #1 and the Transformers comics. And if you didn't have any of those catalysts, you wouldn't have this Joe team. And that's something that, like, I think they could fucking lean on that and really do something cool with it.
I agree with you. And the fact that, between the miniseries leading up to the first issue here, they really deconstructed. They really went in on this whole thing, like, Duke. Not only is he marked as a prior from his superiors, but he's like, "Fuck you! Then you don't believe me? I'm going to go find this shit on my own." And he straight
screams. He screams in Hawk's fucking face.
Yes.
Sorry, not to cut you off.
And then when shit hits the fan, and they realize, okay, some shit's what he's saying is real. He gets what he wants. And he's not, and he's driven by this. It's not the fact, hey, I'm here as a military person to do this. He's like, I want to fucking find out what these things are and get rid of them because they are a threat. Give me the tools, and I will get it done for you. And that's what we're 100%. Seeing.
Yep, absolutely.
And oh, by the way, there's another organization hidden in the shadows of all this too.
By the way. Yeah. I got something for Jesse in just a second, but I want to hit some of these chats. So Hal Jordan says, I've been waiting for the trades for the Energon universe to finally drop, and now that they are, I'm stoked to get into this universe. Yeah, absolutely. I got to say, I went by the Skybound Image booth at San Diego Comic-Con. I dragged Ryan over there because I was like, dude, they got to have some badass shit. nothing. They had fucking nothing. But that's the thing, right? Your comic is so popular. Kirkman's doing 2 separate panels about this shit. But I go by there and it's like nothing. And then Headcanon says Energon tied in one of the dumbest ideas ever, Cobra Law, and did it in a great way that made me say, okay, I like it. Absolutely. 100%. And then this guy, fucking Debbie Downer, the translucent one, I hate Cobra Law and haven't bought a damn thing from that bullshit.
Puts the loose and translucent. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Cobra Law. I'm not. I never was. I always saw the 87 movie as like an Elseworld story. But you need Cobra Law in Energon to make it make sense.
Right. I'm not the biggest fan of Cobra Law. I've always said that. However, I think I'm a little bit further down toward accepting than a lot of people. And actually,
lower on the rung there. Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons is because just kind of like when I was growing up and everything, I was really into, like, when it came out, this line with the most epic intro song of all time. Just by saying that, you may be keyed into what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Jason the Wheeled Warriors, right? So they had the monster mines, which were these things that were, bioorganic, they were these vehicles, and they had like plant things on them. And it was just like, I just thought it was like the coolest thing. So then a couple years later, this other line that I love, G.I. Joe, rolls out, these other people who were like bioorganic kind of,
that's true.
So it really kind of like, I don't want to say it like I love them or I like them or anything by any means, but it just kind of like made it feel more acceptable to me. That evolution toward Cobra Law was a little bit more just kind of, there was another step in the process there. So for me, like, I'm not like as, I don't know what the right word would be, but like I'm not totally against Cobra Law. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not now.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, that's because of the writing. They didn't write it that well. And that's why I have faith, like Rachel Salinas was saying, if they incorporated the Lunartix Empire, I think they could fucking knock it out of the park.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to flip the script for 1 second before I pull up your next image, Jesse.
Okay.
Kenzo's Creation says Skeletor with Megatron armor is a fun time. Did you guys see that crossover?
No, but I want to.
Yeah,
you haven't seen it?
No,
it's not interesting.
Shit, I'll pull it up, man. But I bought it. I fucking bought it. I did. I will die on that hill.
That sounds cool as hell, though. No,
It's an interesting crossover. I mean, they only did they did Bumblebee and Megatron.
Yeah.
But I did buy the can't call it Skeletron, but I did buy the Megator. I don't know, but I bought it. Let me bring this up.
Skeletron? No, that's already taken.
Yeah, it's taken. So good, man. From the Destro comics.
Yes.
Yeah. Talk on this while I find that image.
Yeah, the Battle Android Troopers are. He's got these like advanced bats, prototypes. These really advanced creations, and they have all these different appendages on them. Right? There's incinerators. There's machine gunners. There's like maybe like edged weapon type of appendages on their arms.
Yep.
And they're just really cool. And then like the other thing that they do too, when the Joe team just kind of make Swiss cheese out of them, then you get like these like Terminator-esque like battle damaged bats where like you have like a metal leg exposed or like half their heads blown off. Imagine that as like a troop builder, an army builder. For me, I would buy the hell out of these. I just think they're super cool.
And I like
in general, but like these in particular from this world. Yeah.
And I love the fact that when they introduce this between the miniseries and such between Cobra Commander and Destro, is that Mars is not creating something perfect. I mean, these things need needed some sort of power source, some sort of way of getting all this awesome energy to work. And that's where Cobra Commander kind of weaves in like this, hey, let's get in an alliance together. You have the equipment, I have the source, let's do it. And that's how we get our ray guns.
Pew pew. Yep. That's how we get our blue and red lasers and shit.
That's right.
Thank you, Vishay, for pointing that out. Yeah, please subscribe to Junkion Crafts and Builds and JLS Comics if you haven't already. Except we're all subscribed to JLS Comics because I cleared 50,000.
Everyone apparently is.
You did it that way. I would just say, but
all 50,000 of us. Okay, you guys ready for this?
Probably
shit?
51 now.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jesse. My bad. Blam.
Oh shit! All right. I can definitely see it.
There it is. Yeah.
I like a little bit of like, again, the homage with the Havoc staff and getting a whip kind of like, from the first parts of the cartoon, and then just making that big
not a
gun.
lightsaber. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
I'm cool. I can dig it.
That was on my
And then there's the Man-at-Arms Bumblebee. Not as cool. Not as cool, right?
No.
Kind of
But
giving me
again,
a little like a scare glow kind of vibe. I don't know.
Right? A little bit.
Yeah.
But again, this kind of goes back to the previous discussion. Who's more popular, right? So now instead of talking about Soundwave or Megatron, like Skeletor's way more popular than Man-at-Arms. Megatron's way more popular than Bumblebee. Maybe to some people, but I don't know. I think, oh shit. Anyway, I'm not going to hover over that. I think that the Skeletor Megatron is a much better effort than it just looks like Man-at-Arms with a fucking helmet on.
Yeah.
But yeah, there he is.
It doesn't even scream Man-at-Arms. It just screams like one of the troopers, in the army or the Royal Guard, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the Eternian Guard or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's a good pose right there, especially like I said, showing off that gun. Cool.
Yeah, right. It's kind of incorporating the whole ram's head thing. Not necessarily the Havoc staff, but yeah, just the head, the iconography of it. Yeah.
Now you can put Panther there, but make it Ravage colors, and it just keeps coming out.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's that. I wanted to show that to you guys because if you've not seen it, I bought that shit. I did. I'm sorry. I bought it. But whatever. Derek Dalzell says, being a father of 2 young kids, right, and that's where it counts. The companies seem to rely on Gen X passion will be easily passed on. We are the ones that have to advertise toys to our kids now.
Yeah.
Agree
with you.
Yeah,
and
I couldn't agree more with that. Yeah. Got anything else?
No.
So you know what you do? You allow for some world building opportunities with your kids, right? Meeting Hasbro. You set these things up for Derek to be able to have some good ideas to take his 2 kids out into the living room and play with these things, and you make those memories, and those memories are going to be the thing that makes the nostalgia for the next generation.
My
daughter
ties
together.
Yeah, my daughter's almost 19 now. She still loves toys. I fought for all of San Diego Comic-Con to get her that fucking Elvira Monster High doll. And they make it impossible. But when it went up on their site later, now granted the colors were different, the packaging was different, but I still got it for her. But she's still active. She still collects toys. Toys, action figures, statues, things like that. But that's something that I've always shared with my daughter. And so granted, she's not into like fucking G.I. Joe and Transformers, but she still appreciates my love for toys and collecting, and she carries that on as well. So
Jesse.
Go
That's
ahead,
such a cool image. Oh no, I was just saying in regards to this new generation. our son, I mean, we adopted him, but he was older when we became a family, and he was never really into the toys that much. But I think that's because of how things were before with him. But we have our niece and nephew live with us, and my nephew, he's all about whatever action figures type of stuff. He's into it, but it has to tie in, because I mean, if it's he was pointing to me the other day, the whole Mr. Beast collaboration thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
after
My
I rolled
daughter
my
was talking
eyes
about that too. Yeah.
because it's Mr. Beast. But I'm like, so how did you see this? He's like, oh, well, Mr. Beast was talking about it, and then there's this. I saw the images. I'm like,
yep,
freaking brilliant. It's how he's like, can I get it? Can I play with it? I'm like, we'll see, buddy. After you stop breaking your stuff, you'll be all right. So
yeah. Impossible Pie does bring up a good point. Hasbro probably still thinks promoting war toys is bad. And again, this goes back to the systemic problem at the top of that company. It's been a systemic problem with that company since the inception of G.I. Joe, really, is that they have too many executives that see it as a war brand, not a daring, highly trained special mission force that's flexible in all your toy time adventures.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that ever kills G.I. Joe is Hasbro.
Yeah.
So that is kind of the uphill challenge with Hasbro executives. And I do stress executives versus, the reality of the line.
Right, because I'm sure there are employees within that company that are like us, truly passionate. They want to see nothing but success after success with this, but being stifled by honestly bean counters or anything like that, or like we said earlier, no real leadership or direction other than well, here's what we forecast this this to be. Here's this next law. That means we can't really do this idea. Great thought, but no, we can't do collaborative ideas about a vehicle that transforms for G.I. Joe. Sorry.
Yeah, that's really the tough thing when you work in a corporate environment like that. You have your creative team, you have your marketing team, your legal team, the executives. And so when that initial idea or product get washed through all of that and then rinse and repeat probably 3 times and back because disapproval
and your final product is nothing like
exactly.
What you pitched. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Robert's Infinite Realm says they're risk averse and creatively bankrupt. It's that simple. And the problem with that way of thinking, what makes it so bankrupt is you have this mindset. Well, it worked before, so that's what will definitely work now.
Yeah.
And that's right. Boop. That's the simple mindset of nostalgia based offerings. But the problem with that is, it worked before, but it worked before because somebody took a risk on it, which would also tell you that taking a risk on something now can work as well. They don't see that side of it worked before. They only see it worked before. That's all we're going to do now. Not risk worked for us in the past. Risk could work for us again. It's just like, nope, we're not doing fucking new Coke, right? Anyway, so for anybody who's not seen the Energon universe, here it is in a nutshell. So you got.
I was referring to before.
This is so good. Yeah. So you got the Void Rivals stuff all right here. You got the Sharkticons that obviously bringing in the Quintessons. Duke, Good Guy Baroness, Cobra Commander. There is Chameleon, now a blonde. I don't see Mercer. There's Destro right there. And then here is your Starscream Hiss right there. And then Jesse, here's your fucked up Megatron.
I love that thing.
Laserbeak as his eyes.
That is so cool to me. I just love that thing. Yeah.
And then again, like Mike was pointing out, here is Megatron's right arm grafted onto Optimus. And then of course there's my boy in the background, right? You got to have a little Devastator in your life, but so good, man.
Oh yeah.
But you got all the great. Oh, here's Mercer.
I see Mercer.
He's right there. Where's
Right
Waldo?
down
I
its
found him.
crotch. Yeah,
I've been trying to make this bigger, but it just kind of makes it smaller.
that's what she said.
The bigger, the bigger I make my screen, the smaller it makes the image. That's the biggest I can make it. That's what she said. But yeah, you got everybody, right? So you got Shockwave, Soundwave, you got the Seekers back there, you even got a Junkion back there.
Yep.
Jazz, yeah.
Who's that? Just
Jetfire.
to the left of the Crimson Twins, above Beachhead.
Yeah, he's right here. You
No,
see
right
who this
above.
is? That's
Yeah,
Matt
that's what I'm
Tracker.
pointing out. Yeah,
Yeah.
So they even got him in there.
Yep. Yeah, it's a freaking awesome image, man. Yeah, super cool. And then like here's your Cobra Law, right? Bloop in there. But yeah, good stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. What do you got here?
Oh, it's just that guy. Just him.
That's Risk.
I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think of this character? Do you think there's potential for him? You know, are you just kind of what are your thoughts on this guy? Because we're talking about, like, you know, bringing in new stuff. Here's something that's new. So
I'll let Chad go first.
I think as a new character goes, he's good. I want to see where his character goes, if he even goes anywhere moving forward. But I like when new characters kind of get incorporated here and there, and he's incorporated, I want to say, well, the way that, like, you know, when Bomb Strike came out and she was a new character and they kind of started working her into things, or the Jodie Craig version of Shooter versus the, you know, the just the little Jim Shooter Easter egg kind of nod. But yeah, I like him as a character. But again, I'm going to ask the obvious question: where's the fucking figure?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Tom, who created this character, has said, "I really want this in the classified line." So it's not that side of the camp that's, you know, saying nope, let's not do it. It's the other side.
Yeah, I mean, it took us how long to get Agent Helix? You know, a figure of her. You know, and like I said, we have Chameleon now, this new iteration. But what was the other one? What was the former cop, FBI, Sherlock? She was a figure that character that was newly created. So I mean, the potential's there. I mean, this guy, I want him to be a little more fleshed out, not just this guy that pops in with the snarky comment just to piss off Duke. I mean, I think there's a good opportunity to put some depth into him, and you know, hopefully we'll see more of that as the comics continue.
I like it. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Every
And
once in a while,
saying in the chat, no scope on the shotgun.
that is a Winchester repeater.
Yeah,
Yep.
which you're not gonna, you know, need to.
No, I mean, it's got iron sights.
With a shotgun.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Give me one second. I'll be right back.
Okay. You know, Jesse, every once in a while I do a segment called Imbecile Quote of the Week.
Oh,
brought to us by
here I am.
No. Yeah. Brought to us by Kirk Lazarus, aka Sergeant. The fuck is his name? I'm having a moment. My mind wants to say Four Leaf Tayback, but what was his character's name? Lincoln Osiris, Sergeant Lincoln Osiris.
Oh, yeah.
Tonight, these aren't imbecile quotes because they're just trying to get my goat, right? So we're just going to call these.
That's that bullshit!
For today's That's That Bullshit quotes. Oh, please tell me it jumped. It fucking jumped. No! Oh, here they are. Ready? Here's the first one. Lord of Brooklyn, BK for Life, says 1/12 is the only scale that matters.
Interesting.
And then Jonathan Redmond chimes in with this gem that people know always gets my goat. And the hiss is a tank.
Is it now? Defend your position.
What the fuck did I just hear?
No, it's not. It's not a tank. Sorry.
It's a high-speed sentry. That's it.
And then Talib says somebody has a horny cat.
Don't we all?
Yeah, she's a little rambunctious, but that's going to be changing soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Wolverines, hell yeah. Where's the Wolverines hell yeah at? Did we get any gifted subs? I don't think we did.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, and then Cobra Emperor 6 says, come on, 118 scale mask with G.I. Joe Transformers. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? If we're talking about scales and what's conducive to incorporating Energon stuff, and I mean, we could go back and forth all day, but if they were to ever make mask in the 112 scale, but Hasbro has no faith in a lot of their brands that if these brands didn't take off in the 80s, they're not going to fucking take off very far now. That's the reality of it. That's why nobody's making Visionaries toys, kids. But
yeah,
if they did make mask and they did it in 112 scale, the only way you're getting vehicles is Haslabs.
Yep. Or
and I mean, do you really want a Haslab a Thunderwing? A Thunderwing, a fucking two-door Camaro? No. It's no. And that's a whole other discussion on what's going on with Haslabs. That's a whole other fucking can of worms that I really don't feel like getting into right now. But yeah. So anyway, people are picking on me.
Oops. Hello.
Let me see it.
What are you talking about?
Where'd you play that from? Is it one of these? Do you have one of these? Oh shit, you got the button, boy. I just have the
You just can't get enough of it.
we tag team that shit. Impossible Pie says hashtag do better. Yeah, well, I'm doing better in my do better shirt. Yeah.
There you go.
Headcanon says Lenny and his team are the result of what a person needs to do to survive the culture of Hasbro. I don't disagree with that.
No, and it's not, you know, I don't
but that's a corporate game you were talking about, right?
Yeah, they got to do what their company says to do, but at least they're getting enough freedom to put passion into what they're creating. You know, what you have in hand, that's other factors come along. But I mean, I do give props to Lenny and his team. Maybe the direction kind of weaves around a little bit. You know, maybe there's a little bit of focus on what you want to try to get out. But I mean, people are buying it. I'm buying the stuff still. So I mean, it can't be all bad because I like it.
Yeah, I mean, can't say people aren't buying it. I think that's a whole other conversation for another time, where I know Ryan and Bobby have very adeptly beat up on it, where it's not a toy industry problem. You know, what's going on with sales and lowered sales and things like that. It's not the toy industry in general. It's definitely not the indie toy market, because the indie toy market is going fucking gangbusters.
Yep.
It's something else, you know, and I honestly feel that I've always believed a rising tide raises all ships.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we incorporated a comic book, it's not even one book, it's a whole universe of numerous books that's doing so well, that's so well received. If we started just kind of tweaking things a little bit and adding some more options,
yes,
I think that you would see that, you know, that tide raise all your ships. It's going to help Transformers. It's going to help Void Rivals. It's going to help G.I. Joe. It's going to help Hasbro's bottom line. It's also going to help Skybound. And God forbid, give me a fucking cartoon.
Yep. I mean, take the tooling that you utilize to create a militarized porta potty and put it in some new figure molds.
Holy God, yes.
A combat crapper. Yep.
There you go.
Bigum, what's up, man?
Hey,
Bigum says, "What's up, Noid Holes?" You know, noiding it up. I'm a big fan of this guy. I purchased him. He was like $6.
Yeah.
with like as much in shipping, but whatever.
Well, you got to bring it. You got to bring it next weekend.
Oh yeah, I'll bring him next weekend. Joe Bit says I'm not able to super chat probably because of Laser Pants bitch ass. What the fuck?
What the hell did he do?
Hey, what do you guys think about this? There you go. You want to talk about reuse? Take the Ostriker Bumblebee, repaint it as Beachcomber, and put him with Lifeline.
That's what he should have been to begin with.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, it should have been Beachcomber to begin with. But again, you got to go back to like not only popularity, but also corporate mindset. And that sometimes they're hand in hand. Bumblebee is a very popular Transformer.
Yes.
He was very front and center in the Bayverse movies. He got his own soft rebooting movie, which I actually really liked because they made it a fucking period piece. Thank you. They should have compounded on that success, but no. But yeah, he should have been Beachcomber because it's Beachcomber, right? He's a fucking dune buggy. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. Just trying to get through the chat, guys. The collector said steal one for me. I'm sorry, steal what? And then he says, are spoilers over? I'm not caught up. Dude, this shit's from 45 minutes ago. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, man.
But Hal Jordan, just for you.
Chad, how insensitive of you.
Yeah, there you go. That's the only time I busted that nice lady out tonight. That's what she said. I don't know. We've been going 3 hours. What do you guys got? You guys got like closing thoughts? Thoughts on Energon? What you'd like to see? Did we beat it up, Mike?
I would say I was going to defer to Jesse, but I think we really kind of put the nail on it. Overall, there is a definite need to catch up with something that's popular. Like I said, lightning in the bottle happens rarely. And the fact that right now you have a universe that is quickly being absorbed and enjoyed by so many people, there's got to be a way to catch up with things. And I know, like I said, there's lead times with toys and stuff, but utilize all your resources, utilize that media aspect, keep that energy up while the toys are catching up. You know, it makes sense.
I agree. Yeah. I also got to say, I agree with what Nowhere Manchild says here. If the brand is to grow, fans must not be risk averse overall.
Yes.
Ironic.
Because it's not just the company, it's names is risk as well, right? Sorry,
yeah.
Go.
I was just saying, ironic that one of the new characters' names is Risk, right? I think for me, like, I totally agree. I don't dislike the things that have come from Classified, but I think that they're not leaning into the potential that they have in front of them as much as they could. And so for me, that's kind of like the biggest glaring blind spot for them, if you will. So if they were to do that, I think that we're talking about cohesion, we're talking about sustainability of the line, we're talking about, just getting out there and, just being in front of more, like, just have more eyes on this thing, right? How do you do that? You expand, right? You lean into these things, you take risks, and that's not what they're doing. And that is going to help them. And I want them to do this because I love this line. So if anybody's watching this and is like, oh, you guys are just, harping on this, you're haters, this and that. No, we want it to do well. We want it to survive. We want this to go on year over year over year because we're
not hating on anything,
right? Like we're coming up with ideas of how to make this thing be better and last longer, right? So just keep that in mind as you're listening to this.
It's all about accessibility.
No, 100% agreed. Mother Slug is asking, so did anyone yell at you at San Diego Comic-Con when you yelled, "That's that bullshit"? No. Just the people turned and looked like, what the fuck is this? So, yeah. Baldylocks reviews, he's got a good point. They would have killed it if they remade Mask in O-rings and tied it to Energon with the previous Joe Transformer crossover sets. I agree. I understand the whole thing with the loyal subjects, but like you're literally doing the exact same shit. I mean,
Exactly.
okay, well, you put a couple of rivets in the figures and now they have eyes and ooh, blast effects. I get that. Like you updated a couple of bells and whistles, but yeah. I mean, what the hell? Tie it in with the crossover shit and then tie that into Energon. Let's go, man.
Agreed.
100%. Yeah. Justin Booth sends a $5 super chat. Thank you, Justin, and says all scales matter, but 1/18 scale is easier to world build. I agree. All scales have their place.
Yep. I'm not going to disagree with you at all.
No, and 1/18 became the predominant scale thanks to, Mego and Adventure People and Bernie Loomis at Kenner, and then, carried over and on and on and on, because it is so much easier to world build in that scale. Like, was it done in 1/6? Sure. Has it been done in 1/12? Yeah. I mean, even look at the 5.5-inch scale, whatever the fuck you want to call that, with Masters of the Universe. I mean, they came out with a castle right out of the gate, but 1/18 scale is cheaper for world building. It takes up less space. It's easier to incorporate it. Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I'm fucking biased. So my bad.
How dare you have an opinion?
I know, right? How dare you stay with the scale that you've been collecting and playing with since you were fucking 3 years old? How dare you do that?
Yep.
Sorry. I'm not risk averse. I do have a whole game room full of 1/12 scale shit. It's just not my go-to. Yeah. So Joe Bits, $2 super chat. Thank you, Joe Bits, very much. Says, giving away one copy of Volume 1, The Cobra Strikes. Are you? That's awesome, man. Very cool. I like giving shit away. I need to start giving away more stuff. I do. I didn't even give away any fucking channel memberships. You know what? Let me fix that real quick. You guys, give me some more thoughts while I rat fuck this, because I'm going to give some channel memberships away to people who are here.
All right. Well, I'll ask Jesse. Like this with your channel, are there any things that
That's
you are...
great. Stop talking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
Damn it. Anything? Are you going to go and kind of put together some more thoughts on this topic and for your channel? As recaps of like issues and anything yet?
Yeah, so I've done a video on Risk. I've done one on Sherlock, which is different. It's Aura, but I definitely do want to do more with Energon. I haven't done enough yet. It's just, for me right now, I've been having a tough time with finding the time to, because like my videos are super like edit heavy, time consuming, and just where I'm at right now in my not online world, it's hard to find the time. So like I have all of these ideas kind of just cooking in my head, and I want to get them down. I have this whole like queue of characters and things like that I need to get through. I make it sound like it's some like insurmountable list. It's not that crazy, but right. So it's like how do I find the time to do those and then work in some of these like other ideas? But I absolutely want to do this, and I think like kind of like the way to solve that for me is the live show format and still being able to talk through these things in a bit more real time. So probably try to find a way to work in some more live shows and things like that while I'm still doing it. So I think that's the way for me to like, kind of, what did he say? It was retro blasting. He said kind of like walk on the balance beam between the two ideas. So I think that's kind of what I need to do for those. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love streams like this where we're just actually having conversations, not sitting there kind of, at least for what I do for the most part, is like, hey, here's this, and here's what I thought about it. But actual conversations and being able to talk to a lot of these designers and stuff, that's where the real fun for me comes into play. And we get a chance to talk about it, on Thursdays on on the other podcasts that I'm on. But that's one thing I like to do, and hopefully get more of that done. Yes. Is that enough time, Chad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Actually, perfect. So, I went ahead and I gifted out 10 channel memberships. Hopefully, everybody who received them enjoys them. By all means, go to the members tab on YouTube and just check out all the members content that's there. There's tons of it. And the Collector, Stormfire, Blizzard, Duarte Studios. Oh, Brian.
Hey, man.
Super K, Johnny Number Cinco, and then I gifted out 5 more. John Battle, I'm Reloading, Rage Hanor, Skill Shoe, and Cerrone Games Go. All receive channel memberships from me, and then that allows me to Wolverines. Hell yeah!
Wolverines! Hell yeah!
Very cool.
Excellent.
And then Jacob says, also, Chad, I have a bat delivery coming your way later. Oh, I got some new Batman figures, right? Speaking of, I'm telling you, if it's anything to do with Nightfall, Nightfall, Night Quest, Night's End, or Arkham, I'm all about it. Even though it's McFarlane, but those two, and I try to keep it
Arkham
right
Knight.
there because every once in a while my eyes start moving towards like Doomsday, and I'm like, no, don't do it. Because if I get Doomsday, then I got to get Superman, then I got to get
That's how it starts.
Kryptonite power armor, and then I got fucking Blue Beetle, and I'm fucked, right? So,
Yep. Then you start getting a basement where you have to like go sideways to walk past all the stuff you bought.
Yeah. And Duarte, you are the true wiener. I love you very much.
You're building a whole Hall of Justice.
And then Robert Magana says, Transformer, Shart / Boog, do better / Roland's out.
Oh, man. I have some thoughts on, I'm not going to go there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is. 0 points given. New channel member. Hell yeah. Thank you very much. And
Awesome.
Yeah, I have to thank you, gentlemen, for hanging out with me. Mike, you and I have hung out recently. And again, thank you for inviting me on your channel. Thank you for coming over here and continuing the conversation with me. And Jesse, man, I love you, dude. You're doing the Lord's work. And it's been too long since you and I have hung out. More people need to see your face on a regular basis.
I don't know about that, but maybe my words.
And I've seen you many times, right? But as soon as you get on screen and I see you, and then the voice comes through, and I'm like, oh, there it is.
Oh, that's him. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to everybody in the chat for hanging out with us tonight. That's that bullshit. Yeah. But I appreciate you all. Thank you all for hanging out with Mike and Jesse and myself. Yeah, you guys are the best. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Jesse, it's been a minute, man. You're going to sign us out.
There you go.
All right. Well, I guess I'll say what I said when it was you, me, and one of our other good friends. So, thank you for being a friend. I got a couple things coming up on my channel. I know they do as well. Definitely keep checking those out. This has been a lot of fun, Chad. I hope you can have me back if I wasn't too insufferable. And I guess what I'll say at the end here is Autobots get rolled. No, wait, that's not how it goes. Autobots roll out.
You know what? I fucked up. And you just look. Jesse, thank you for telling us what you have coming up on your channel. Mike, what's coming up on JUNKION CRAFTS and Builds? Sorry.
Rolling through a bunch of stuff, and what I don't do quick enough, I get a chance to talk to 3 other great guys every Thursday on the Figure Action podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk toys and have conversations like this about stuff we love, what we wish would happen, and what we hope doesn't happen. But yeah, other than that, that's me. And again, I'll be able to see all you great guys next weekend up in New Jersey for Toytuber Expo.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm excited to come to New Jersey and see everybody, see some people I've never seen in person before. I'm very grateful to Ninja for inviting me, and that was a phone call because he was like, look, man, I know you're probably going to have to fly. And I was like, fuck. And I said, you know what? For you, I'll do it. So I'm going to face death in a cylindrical lawn dart to hang out with everybody in New Jersey. So by all means, if you're anywhere near New Jersey, please come hang out and help me remember why I'm getting on a fucking airplane. Anyway, so hey, Jesse, you want to say that rollout line or get rolled one more time? So I fucked that up.
Autobots, get rolled.
Chad, how insensitive of you.